Yeah, we were Sea Waves, and there's the thing that happened, like, she didn't realize something, and at the end of the movie, she's like, okay, I didn't really like that movie, and I explained to her, I was like, this is why I did, and she's like,
go like 2 fists.
Oh.
You can scoot up the chair if you want.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good distance.
You're
talking about your girlfriend saw Waves and she didn't like it.
Yeah. I told her why I did, and she's like, oh, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense, and it kind of like changed her like perception of the movie, and I was like, okay, so this is definitely a movie that not everyone's gonna like, and I can totally understand that, but I think everyone should give it a second chance if they don't. Mm-hmm. Like even me, like I think I should rewatch it even though I liked the movie. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would definitely recommend that one.
Yeah, the Waves trailer just gave me the vibe of one of those, like, okay, guys, we're going in for the Oscar with this one. It's going to be dramatic. There's going to be some yelling. There's going to be a pretty good soundtrack. Oh, yeah. And that's where I'm like, all right, the question is it good or is it fake good?
Yeah, no, it looked kind of like it was trying to get indie, like film Twitter.
Yeah.
It was trying to capture them.
Yeah. Sorry, can you just go a little bit closer? You can just scoot up your chair. Sorry.
Oh. How's that? I just feel so good. It's like taking up most of my my vision. I feel like.
Yeah. Go back. I'm sorry.
Should I just put this down?
Yeah. Just put it down. You can do that. Shit. Yeah, you're gonna align it with your. Oh. There. Honestly, I don't even know if you were not close enough or not. I've just barely done. I just barely done this, and I don't want the audio to be garbo on like the first 3 I do. So I'm just playing it safe. My apologies.
Do you have headphones?
I do, but it's not letting me listen like while I record. So I'm.
Did you try putting it on here?
Yeah, I did. I did like level tests earlier, so it should be fine.
Okay.
I'll stop talking about it. Sorry.
That was fine. I don't want it to be garbo either.
The levels look good, so we should be good.
Okay.
All right. So Waves. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that was about it. I have it like a 9. I gave it like a 9
out of 10.
Yeah.
Oh, we were talking about like the Oscar movie film Twitter thing.
Oh yeah.
You know what makes me laugh like a ton? Jacob has like this huge hatred for the movie The Blind Side.
Yeah. No, I know. He's always had that.
And I always just assume it's because it's like a forced Oscar movie, but I like The Blind Side.
Well, when is the last time you saw that movie?
I was literally watching YouTube clips of it like a day or 2 ago because Movie Clips like recommends me videos on the sidebar all the time. Uh-huh. And it was the clip where Sandra Bullock walks in and she like yells at the coach, but then she like slaps his ass on the way in too, and people who go see the movie go, ha ha ha, that's funny. Yeah. And then she goes over to the team and she's like, Michael, when you look at him, I want you to think of TK. When you look at him, I want you to think of me, and I have your blind side.
Oh my god!
And then he just kind of goes, "Yes, ma'am," and then she like waltzes back.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, and it had like the dramatic like Robert Zemeckis like Forrest Gump style music underneath it. Mm-hmm. It totally hooked me in terms of like getting me in that Oscar-y movie way that I was trying to do.
It's very manipulative.
Very manipulative. Yeah. But I was like, this scene is like a mom like sexually harassing a coach and then coming in and then basically saying the most basic instruction of inspiration you could think of.
Yeah.
She's basically like, hey, when you look at him, do what the thing that you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then they kind of don't let him talk either. He's just kind of there to be like, all right, I'll listen to her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I see what you guys were trying to do.
No, yeah. Last time I watched that was when it was in the theater, and I was a little kid, so I loved it. But
yeah, I remember really liking it.
Yeah, no, same. I feel like I could see it, people like the qualms people have with it, just looking back. But I think the reason Jacob didn't like it is because back then he was like a huge like actor guy, and so he hated that main guy's performance. I think
the guy who played Michael Orr.
Is that his name?
I think it's Michael Orr.
Yeah, he just didn't like him as an actor, I think, or his performance. So like it just ruined the whole movie. He had this weird thing with Shia LaBeouf too, where he just hated Shia LaBeouf.
Okay, I love Transformers era Shia LaBeuf, where he's like, Optimus, I'm Sam Witwicky, and it screams. And now he sounds like really Cajun because he is Cajun, but like he kind of hey there,
yeah,
Sean.
No,
hey Sean Evans,
serious.
Yeah, I'm Honey Boy.
Yeah,
you're real razzle-dazzle there, huh? Like that, like that's like Shia LaBeouf's vibe now. But before it was like Megan. Megan. It was like beans. What? Like that's like how he used to talk.
Yeah. Did you see Honey Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
It's
you can
sad.
see why he's like.
I gotta
all messed
say,
up now.
it's really good, but it's kind of middle to lower middle on my list of favorite movies for the year, only because I'm not the type of person to put a movie at the top of my list because it has really good acting.
Yeah,
It has to
that's
be
most
like,
of that movie.
Yeah,
Like,
that's most of that movie. And not saying the other stuff is bad, but that's just most of its achievement.
yeah,
And it's also just really, really sad. And usually movies that like resonate with me more are just kind of are a little bit like less one-dimensional. And one-dimensional movies can be good. I'm not even saying that one is.
Yeah, no,
but like movies that have like a full spectrum of like emotion reaction.
I get that for sure. It's not. I don't think it's top 20 for me.
No, that one felt like, all right, that was a really good one-man show.
Yeah,
It was
a lot of good scenes strung together. The story wasn't really there, but it was still a good story, I'd say.
Yeah.
Just not like like you said, one-dimensional story.
I missed Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh yeah, no, that was good. You should see that.
I really wanted to. I just let it slip by.
It was fun.
Bro, I saw Bombshell.
Oh, was it good?
Yeah, I really liked it more than I thought I was going to. I didn't even recognize Charlize Theron for like 5 scenes. I was like, that's Megyn Kelly.
Yeah.
I was like, who's playing Megyn Kelly? Megyn Kelly? Because that's Megyn Kelly.
Yeah.
She changed her voice. She's like, hello.
And she has
Megan."
makeup, like a bunch of prosthetics or something, I think.
Yeah, they like changed the shape of her face.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And they did that to like Nicole Kidman and John Lithgow too. John Lithgow is like this big fat guy and it looks really real.
I know. I saw that.
He's like, they're gonna kill Fox News.
I watched. What was it called? Showtime has the loudest voice. It's what. You have pizza. Oh, is it hot? Pizza roll's hot. Why did you eat it? Just put the whole thing in your mouth. It's so tiny already.
I wanted to just sneak a bite of food but not eat on air.
Oh
but I took a half bite because I thought
And
that's how much time you would need to talk.
No.
And then it got on my face and everything. I'm just going to not ever eat while doing that.
Okay. Loudest voice. So it's pretty much the exact same story, I think.
Yeah.
And it was like I think it's 6-episode miniseries on Showtime or Stars, one of those. But no, that was really good. And then I saw the trailer for Bombshell, and I was like, oh, sweet, a movie version of it. But it looks it's like a whole different tone.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if
it's honestly
be better.
not like the trailer.
Oh, is it?
The premise is, but the filmmaking style, like the trailer made like. It had a lot more like swag than I thought it was going to have. Like it did you know how like the Big Short and Vice kind of do like
semi-documentary.
Structure bending things.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, like they do stuff where you're like, you're not allowed to do that in a movie. Bombshell was kind of inventive in that same way. Like they did they just did like cool kind of stuff where I'm like, oh, this had more filmmaker-y type aspirations than I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to be just one of those like documentary film styled movie about a thing that happens and that's like all it is. But I really liked it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that director, he's made a bunch of political movies for HBO, and this is his first like one that's in theaters, I think.
Oh,
maybe it's his first, but yeah. So that's cool. Good for him.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
I've never watched The West Wing or that other Aaron Sorkin show, The Newsroom. Yeah.
Dude, I just finished West Wing like a few months ago. I've been watching it since we lived together back in like college.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a.
Well, it's 7 seasons and it's like kind of episodic, but so it's not like it doesn't. It's easy to just leave it and then, not get back to it for a little bit. But yeah, no. After I finished it, I was like, this might be like one of my favorite shows ever, just because of how like smart it is. And
I think Breaking Bad is still like the best show I've ever seen, and it might be the best art piece of any art form I've ever seen.
Oh, I can see that. I gotta rewatch that.
I just can't think of anything. Like, there's things that mean a lot more to me than Breaking Bad, but I just can't think of anything that's ever engaged me as much as that. But Aaron Sorkin's so fucking good that I want to get into those shows.
Yeah, I'd suggest checking out West Wing. I still gotta watch his other shows, but as a movie director, I mean, you even know or a movie writer, how good he is. Social Network's one of your favorite, right?
Yeah, I think Social Network's like one of the best movies of the decade.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think it's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's in my top 25, probably top 10.
Yeah. It's just I would just call it I kind of give more things perfects than most people would, but my thing is like I think there's a spectrum of perfect. Because some movies are gonna be the Oscar movies, some are gonna be like maybe something like Chef where it's like fun. But I think when you're operating within that lane,
no, it's perfect to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything is whatever it is to me. It's just an opinion. But like, what I'm getting at is like, you know, like there's gonna be dive bar bands and there's gonna be like the Beatles. You know what I mean? So it's like for Chef being like this type of a movie that it is.
Oh yeah, it's perfect at what it did.
Yeah, it's perfect at what it is.
Yeah.
And so for me, like a perfect movie is just something where I'm like, everything about this is great. Like it's just everything influences each other perfectly. It's enjoyable. And The Social Network is one of those hardcore perfect movies where I'm just like, whoa, this is crazy filmmaking. Like, there's nothing wrong with this, and even if there is, it doesn't matter.
Dude, oh my god, yeah. I totally agree, because Social Network was like I would say it's my like puberty movie, where I was just like probably like a tween. It was 2010, so I was like, what?
We were starting high school.
Yeah, we were 13, 14.
It made me make a Facebook account.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's crazy.
I went home and I like wanted to make a Facebook so hard because like
just because that movie.
But well, dude, the whole movie is just Jesse Eisenberg like
saying all what's cool about Facebook,
slinging one-liners.
Wait, I have to explain why it's my puberty movie really quick. So before that movie, I don't think I really knew what a good movie was. I kind of just like threw something on, and like, you know, things that resonated with me were like good movies. But after I saw that, I was like, oh wait, this was a good movie, and it should be a boring movie to me. Like, this doesn't make any sense. It was just talking the whole time. Like, it was just people talking.
Yeah.
And boardrooms and just But then I came out of it and I'm like, oh my god, like this is incredible. And I've never seen anything like this. And then I started to realize what good movies were.
Yeah.
It kind of introduced me to them.
When it comes to subject matter, that sort of like talking in boardrooms and stuff, that at that age I would have been comfortable with that. But when it comes to like the overall quality, it was the exact same thing for me, where I was like, movies can be that good? Because it was either like the month before or after, but like Inception came out that same season.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
And I remember walking out of Inception like just like a dork. Like I probably spoiled it for some people in the lobby on accident because I was just like yelling about how good it was to my friends.
That was my favorite movie.
It was a dream and a dream and a dream inside a limbo, and I was just like, I was just like, this shit
blew my mind.
Yeah, I just never seen something that had got me like that invested.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because it was Dark Knight. It was my favorite movie for a while, and then I saw that because I was so excited for the new Nolan movie, and that became my favorite movie. And I kept having this wrestling match between those ones, and then Social Network comes out. I'm like, what the heck is happening? Like,
Christopher Nolan is happening.
Yeah.
No,
those two movies probably. I mean, they're cemented in my top 25. So it's like when you say best of decade, it's like, wait, 2010 started it all with two of my favorite movies ever. So
you know what movie I also think is like kind of on par with being that good, and I like regard it as one of the top decade movies? This movie I think has been getting a bad rap because of like meme culture and internet culture lately.
Cats. Is it Cats?
I love Cats so much. You're gonna listen. No, it's not Cats.
What is it?
500 Days of Summer.
What? I thought internet likes that movie.
So the internet does, kinda, but I think sometimes the problem with 500 Days of Summer is that it's being so. People are gonna think
misinterpreted.
People are gonna think this sounds pretentious, but I think it's being so sophisticated that everybody who watches it thinks it's about a different thing.
Yeah.
So like dudes think of it kind of are being like the guy in The Graduate, where they think it's like a story about a relationship where a girl's like a dick and like breaks up, you know, and they're like, Dad, I love Summer. Why won't she date him? And then there's like dudes who like grow up who realize like, oh, the narrator's right. This isn't a love story, and like this guy had stuff to learn, you know?
Yeah, it's like the perfect incel movie for them to misinterpret.
The thing is like those might not even be like incels so much as just like people who just haven't figured it out yet. You know, like they're just not mature. They're having like deep like 14-year-old love feelings.
Yeah.
I think there's a side of the internet that also doesn't understand that it's about that. But they are woke, so they wind up getting mad at the movie for being a manic pixie dream girl type movie.
Okay.
So there have been times where I voice how much I like that movie, and I think maybe on one side, film people might scoff and be like, that's just like a rom-com, or oh, you're into one of those hipster cult things that isn't actually that good. And then on the other side, there might be people just being like, you like that movie? Isn't it like a dangerous movie? And I'm just like, guys, it's so good.
Yeah, I mean,
it's very divisive.
I'd say like woke people, like they're not
Whatever
always
that.
right. Yeah, it's like some people are fake woke and some people just misinterpret everything.
I've been thinking about it. I really think when it comes to internet woke people, and obviously there's a spectrum of them.
Yeah.
I think our current mainstream definition of being woke is being like informed on social issues.
Oh, yeah.
But I think to be like woke, you really what they're getting at there with that word is like enlightened.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah.
If you're enlightened, there's a lot of stuff you need to be like emotionally well versed on, and like intellectually. And I think like a lot of people pick a lot of really dumb battles.
Yeah.
But then they have like all these other red flags about them.
Yeah.
Which is okay because like it's all okay because people like just people just learn over time. But some people are like extremely vindictive as woke people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you don't know what's going on outside of America. You probably don't know what's going on inside of America with like the economy. Like there's so many like, do you know anything about health? Do you know anything about culture? Or it's just like sometimes people like they start carving their personality into being woke and specifically just like social and civil rights issues, which are really important.
Yeah,
but there's just like a lot of.
But sometimes
there's a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, I mean those people like you get some like you said. I mean it's good to be like that, but then some people are just not I guess mature about it and they take like they see one tweet or one headline and then they decide to just zero in and be like the crowd around them and attack it, but they're not totally looking at the big picture, I guess. And so like I think there's so many variables you got to throw into these certain things.
I think it's most of that, and I think it can also like make me like afraid sometimes to like even like respond or try to have a conversation.
I know. Even having this conversation right now is scaring me.
I've kind of decided to just stop caring about that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, just be yourself and be informed and don't be stupid.
Well, it's like, for instance, if like somebody like tweeted angrily about something and like I thought they were like misrepresenting it. It's like for me to like want to follow up and be like, oh, it's like this though actually or something, or why do you feel like that? I feel like even that like gives me like fear because then I'm like, oh, are they gonna get mad at me for responding, or am I or all these things? But it's just nothing really happens if we don't like talk. Yeah.
No, and there's people who just aren't gonna change their mind at all either.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
I mostly use social media just to like share stuff and retweet stuff. Honestly, I feel like less and less inclined to like even like say things so much as it's just like, here's a cool movie or a cool this or that, like whatever it is.
Yeah. Lately I have been. It's fun because like the new Star Wars coming out.
Yeah.
Wait, should I stop?
No, you're
okay. Yeah, like that reignited the Phantom or the fandom menace as they call it.
Yeah.
And so people are really they're going back on like their hatred for The Last Jedi. So it's like fun to attack.
The Last Jedi.
No, me too. But it's the other day I was just like, you know what, I think I'm gonna troll some of these people just because like a lot of them are like incel or like racist or like totally like against that stuff.
When it comes to The Last Jedi.
Yeah, it's like that's.
Is it all the stuff about Rose's character?
There's Rose, and then just like I think having a female protagonist. Who's like powerful. It's just come back. So I'm like, I've already spent 2 years of my life defending this movie. I think I'm gonna go on the offense for once. So I just like I found like every time there's like a tweet that's like praising Last Jedi, you'll find a ton of people that go under it like just like attacking it. Yeah. So like I'll respond to some of them and be like, just point out why they're wrong or their whole argument is just like upside down, like backwards. Just
I think it's good to like sprinkle some of those out there, but then also be extremely conscious of how much time you're spending doing it.
Yeah,
because the second it's upsetting you, and the second it's eating up too much time, you're losing, and you're doing it to yourself.
I know that's.
But like, there are things like that sometimes where like I see good of it. Mm-hmm. Like I retweet like a lot of political stuff, and like there have been times where I've literally responded to somebody's question and then they said like, oh, thank you, I'll look more into that, that was really helpful. And like same thing with like movie opinions. Sometimes like people are like, oh, I thought you meant this, never mind. So like so like it is good to like reply sometimes.
Yeah, especially if it's just like totally bigoted. Just like just give it like just trolling them back. Because
what are the criticisms of Last Jedi that you like agree with, if there are any?
Well, to me, like it's like a perfect movie. Like I said earlier, it's
Yeah.
perfect in its own way to me. And
I love
but I
it.
can see why someone might not find certain aspects of it as interesting as I do. Like the Canto Bight stuff, everything on the Casino Planet is like it's obviously it's not as interesting as the other storylines going on. Even I mean I still enjoy it. I still find the themes pretty good.
Yeah.
And but some people just don't find it as interesting, and then they all blame Rose for that.
Yeah. There's a dog in here. It's okay though. He's fine. He usually lies down.
He's so cute.
Yeah. There's Rose. They blame it on Rose.
They blame it on Rose, and it's just like Rose is there to be like the guiding force and the hope that this movie has, because the movie is so dark and like sad and like, but she's like that one spark of hope that Star Wars has in all their movies. So that's why I love her.
My thing with The Last Jedi is I think like The Force Awakens gave this really magical, colorful feeling, and it's like a big journey.
Mm-hmm.
And the big problem I had with Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is the first one was this movie that like took you through a bunch of places, and then the second one, it's like extremely stationary.
Mm-hmm. I see that.
The Last Jedi, when it started, I was like all into it, and then like half an hour or 40 minutes in, I was like, oh, that cold opening scene where they're shooting at the force field, is this just the shooting at the force field movie? Is this like the plot? And it was.
Kind of. It's in the background.
Well, I mean, it goes on for a lot longer than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
And the Casino Planet, I was just kind of uninterested by it. It kind of reminded me of like the prequels in the way that it's like very prosperous and CGI based. And I was like, yo, Star Wars isn't interesting without conflict, possibly. Mm-hmm. So like there's some, but it was really visually cool.
Yeah.
And the thing about Last Jedi is like, it's long. Mm-hmm. And I think it's my favorite Star Wars movie, possibly.
Oh.
Yeah, like despite these criticisms, that's the thing, because like the stuff that's good about it to me are the coolest things I've ever seen the franchise do. I love that the whole sentiment that Rey like comes from nobody and anybody can be a hero.
Oh, rip.
I actually like the way Snoke died. I thought because it was one of those moments where I'm like, that's what I would have done. Yeah, it was like a clever use of, I get why people, and that fight scene, just the set decoration of it is beautiful, and the part where she light speeded through the ship,
incredible.
That I literally had the idea for her to do that like right before she did it, because I was just thinking like, how do they get out of this?
Yeah,
and I was like, yo, has anybody ever used light speed as a weapon? And then she did it, and like when the movie went silent, my like jaw dropped. Like it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah, all three times I saw that in theaters, when that happened, there's someone in the audience that went,
yeah,
it was amazing.
Yeah.
But okay, so see what I find awesome in the whole storyline between Rose and Finn in that Casino Planet is just like it's expanding the Star Wars universe in a way no movie has before, where it's like it's showing like that this war, even like the rebels are like it's not as black and white, they're not all good. Like it's showing that they're buying arms from the same dealers that the bad guys are, and that was cool. I thought how it's kind of promoting this anti-capitalism agenda is cool. Like Star Wars promoting anti-capitalism, insane. But there was that, and I just found it like fun, like trashing this planet of rich people. and
I like capitalism that's injected with like socialism.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that.
No, I know. I get what you're saying. No, yeah, that they like the part where they like broke free the animals from the racetrack and they like fucking trashed the that shit was cool.
Yeah, that was great. And then I was gonna say there's this video on YouTube called The Guide to The Last Jedi, and I definitely recommend it, because there's like I've been defending it for so long, and finally seeing someone argue the same points I have, just like in a smarter way. I'm like, genius. But he also brings up more, and I'm like, this is insane. Some things I didn't think about.
Why do you think people hate the Leia floating thing so much? Because the thing about that scene is like I also thought it was a little bit weird. But also, like, given what Star Wars is, I didn't really find it to be that outside the realm of, like, shit that happens in that universe. So, like, I'll admit, like, during that moment, I was like, okay. but it didn't like super bug me. But then the internet unanimously like detests it, and I'm like, well, wait, people.
No, it's
like Star Wars characters do stuff like this.
Yeah,
like this isn't that crazy.
It's just because it looked weird. I think
it's not like she had laser eyes.
Yeah,
I think people mostly just had a problem with the CGI.
Yeah, it was just the CGI. I think it looked funny, so then people just decided to tear it apart.
Yeah,
but I mean, like she's a Skywalker. She has the Force. Like, yeah, they didn't show her
pretty good amount of the Force too. Her dad was Darth Vader. Darth Vader.
She didn't use it very much in the originals, but like you're kind of supposed to assume that she can use it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can float other things around. Why can't you float yourself?
I think what it was I don't think in the I could be wrong, but I think in the CGI they did like. Nothing about her body or her outfit like changes as she's moving. Like I think the physics were like really light. I'm not saying that there's
it's in space.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm not saying that there is wind in space, but if you already have someone whose body isn't like being sucked away, like she's not in like she has no spacesuit on. It's not like she's imploding. So that, and I don't know if they've ever shown that in Star Wars, because even Boba Fett's like in his suit.
Yeah.
So like she's just a woman in space, and to have her just be like,
I know,
just kind of floating. Well, I think that's what it is.
I was cool with it because like, I mean,
I was
think Guardians, the first Guardians, same.
But
stuff.
even his face starts to like erode away.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
And then he gets injected
amazing.
with some shit. No,
I thought it was like kind of clunky.
I know what you're
when
getting.
I first saw it.
No, yeah, I know what you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, how do you make that look good?
When it ended, I was like happy. So then when I went on the internet later, I was like, what?
Yeah, I was furious with the response. And I went on a rage, and then I decided to just stop and just give up because I was like, who am I going to convince?
No, let me tell you before you get into this, because I know you got a lot to say.
Oh no,
I love
Rise of Skywalker?
episode 9.
Okay.
So this is coming from someone who did not grow up with Star Wars. I saw episode 4 like twice as a kid. Didn't watch it again until I was like 16. Then I watched episode 5 and it made like next to zero impression on me. And then years later, I watched with you and another group of friends episodes 4 through 6 and then 1 through 3, like all in separate viewings. Mm-hmm. And like I wasn't super into it. Mm-hmm. And then The Force Awakens came out, and I was just like, yeah, this is the Star Wars I've always wanted.
Yeah.
And like I find the originals to be like good movies that just don't mean that much to me. Mm-hmm. So like I have a very passive relationship with like these characters.
I get that.
Not in the way I do with Harry Potter. So like when I was watching episode 9. Like, literally every single beat, I was just like, right. Okay. I was just going along with all of it. I had no proclamation to anything. I was just like, this is great.
Yeah, I mean, I can see if you watch it, you don't think too hard, and you're not...
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
No, because it's definitely a movie where it's just like the pacing is... It's in a way to where it's never gonna be boring, I guess, to some people, and like it's always moving, and like I get that. Like Natalia likes it, and like I get it, but I guess just for me it was just like the pacing was so quick in the first act. And
no, I agree with that. It was really fast. Like it felt like they were trying to like blow through real estate, like when it first started. And I
had so many questions that I wanted answered still, and like and then plus there was so many things that kind of like my jaw was dropping because of like how like it kind of spit in my face from the very beginning.
So with all the questions you had, so when I was watching it and the opening crawl comes in and it gives you like a lot of info, but in like one sentence or, like they're not explaining any of it. I've never, in the past when I've read the crawls, I feel like really frantic when I'm reading them because it's so much info and some of it is like government based. And I'm always like, oh God, okay, I got to get this right. And understand. Like, and usually I'm fine. And this one, when he just like said like, hey,
I know
this guy's back. This person's doing this. This person's doing this. Go. Yeah. I was just like, all right, shit.
I know. And it's just okay. So
it like made me laugh at how much I liked it for doing that because I was just like, all right, shit. Okay, here we go, guys.
Okay.
But I also was like, some people might not like this. Like I could tell immediately that like it was going to be polarizing.
Well, just because bringing the Emperor back into it was just like, why? Like I get it. There needs to be a big bad, but just make Kylo the big bad. It didn't have to be. You didn't have to like do some mental gymnastics to bring back this guy from the originals. Like,
Yeah.
like he incinerated pretty much. In episode 6, he got thrown down this huge.
But okay, the thing about him coming back, him basically saying like, I have this just ridiculous strength of the dark version of the Force, and that's how I'm like doing this. I'm totally fine with that. Because there's so many other things akin to that where I'm like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
When he like kind of looks like a zombie in the beginning, like he looks like an R.L. Stein monster. I was like, wait, is it his original body?
Yeah, I know.
That's
right?
ridiculous.
It's strange. And he's like attached to something, like
yeah.
And then it becomes an arm later.
I thought it was really cool looking, but that did feel like not super Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, just that whole planet kind of to me.
It felt like a Star Wars version of something from something else.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't look or feel out of place, but I was like, would you do this?
Yeah. Yeah, and there's just a lot of things in the movie, to me, that were like that. Like, when they get onto the desert planet and, like...
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like speeding through story right there. And there's just, like, the snake thing... And then it heals it.
I forgot that was in
the
movie.
Because it was so quick. You heal the snake just to show that there's this power that it'll come on later in the movie.
Yeah.
And then the knife. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay.
The knife,
Okay.
And then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So see, you're not even remembering this.
No. Okay. Well, hold on. Okay. First of all, yeah. There are things that did not make a big enough impression on me to where, like, right now I'm, like, super thinking of them immediately. But, like, I remember all of it now that I think about it. When... Why'd they delete C-3PO? Just to, like, undo it? Like
dude, I don't know what's going on. But basically...
Why? That's so loud.
Okay, let me... Hold on. It's backstory. Backtrack really quick. There was the writer, Chris Terrio. They brought him on set to constantly rewrite things. Yeah. And it kind of has that vibe where it's like, okay, what do we do next? Let's move on to the next thing.
What else
a way
is
we
this
can move
guy
the story.
You go like right in front of it.
Yeah.
This way. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so get this. He did Argo, which is like great. And then he goes on to write Batman vs. Superman and Justice League.
Oh.
And so you'd think that making the last movie in the Star Wars saga...
Why'd they give him that job?
Yeah, you would do it to someone more
I
safe.
liked what he... wait, does J.J. Abrams not...
He co-wrote it, I think.
Oh, okay.
But I think Chris Terrio was brought on as kind of like a studio guy. Like, the studio probably got worried. And they were like, hey, go in there and fix some things. Don't make it like Last Jedi. Make it like the other ones. Retcon some stuff.
You know what you're doing. You made Batman versus Superman.
Dude, I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, he was on the set, constantly rewriting things. You can kind of feel it where it's like, okay, they go to the snake thing, you know, she heals him because they need to like set that up early in the movie, and then they find the knife.
Yeah.
The knife is written in Sith language, so C-3PO can't.
It felt very like parcel tongue, like Slytherin.
Yeah, he has to.
I'm like, we've done this before.
I know, it's weird. I mean, I get it. It's kind of Lord of the Rings did it too, I think.
Yeah, probably.
But then they have to go to a whole new planet just to get it read out loud, and that's why C-3PO had his mind erased.
No. I remember the plot point, but like I thought it was so silly.
No, I know.
Like they just kind of decided it, and then they like.
That's what I'm saying.
And then they like undecided.
That's how a lot of things were with like Chewie. Same with Chewie. Remember?
That shit was insane.
I know.
They did that.
Yeah, no, when it happened, I was like...
Hear me out. Completely captivated. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, no, same.
Yeah.
And then 4 minutes later, it's erased.
Oh, you liked that they did it.
Oh, no, I mean, I was hurt. But, like, it did make me feel like, okay, there's some weight to this story. There's something going on I care about. And then 4 minutes later, I stopped caring because it turned out it was a different ship.
Here's what my progression of thoughts were. Earlier in the movie, I was like, there's no way they could ever kill Chewbacca. Because I was thinking about the original lineup. And I was thinking, like, they're probably going to kill Leia in here. Like, why wouldn't they? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, they can't kill Chewbacca. and then when they did it, I thought about it, and I was like, the only person who can kill him is her. Like, I was just thinking of it, like, from a writing standpoint. I'm like, all right. I see what you guys are laying down. And then they undid it. I was like, I was right. You can't kill Chewbacca.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're not allowed to.
Yeah.
And the way in which they did it was gruesome.
I know.
Like, really bad.
If you think about it, it would make no sense for them they're playing it so safe. Like, if they had done that and kept it that way, there were so many people that would be so pissed that Rey had killed Chewbacca. Like, they already hate her so much.
The shot where it happened, though, where it's like, that shot.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
That was sick.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's so many things that the movie does that I love. What can you do?
Use a microwave.
It's fine. Okay, what I was going to say was there's, like, for as much as that movie that I don't like, there's probably stuff that I do like. So that's why it's like a half and half to me. Yeah, it's like okay. I give it like a 6, maybe 5.5.
Okay.
So like that, yeah. There's a bunch of stuff I can point to that where I love like that. I think that the.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think there's a lot of story beats I do like, but like I said, there's a lot that I don't.
What about the shit where, when they're like force Skyping each other?
Oh yeah, I love that.
Okay.
That was awesome. And like things are transferring to the other spot.
You were down with that?
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
That was cool. And that's something that The Last Jedi set up. And like so many of the things that The Last Jedi set up that come into this movie are good.
The cool parts of episode 9. Yeah.
Ugh.
Really where I sit with it is when the trailer came out, and I didn't watch it, but I heard Twitter, like, it was impossible to avoid, like, people saying, like, oh, Palpatine's, like, laugh is in the trailer. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, he's probably back. So when they set up the movie, just being like, he's back and this is happening, I was ready to go along with it, because I was just like, okay, this franchise has had some direction and also a bit of a feeling of maybe a lack of one to some people. Like, what is the main point? What are we getting to? And so then when JJ, and it is connected to the last trilogy, like pretty heavily in terms of like taking off of the events of like where it left off not that long later. Mm-hmm. So when I was like, okay, JJ just wants to rope this back into the original thing and make it just the untold part of like what happens from there, and make it like this. I was, and like he has this big plan, and that's like where Snoke comes from. I was just like, I'd buy that. That's cool. And then I'm like, let's see where they go with it. When they made like Rey, you know what I'm saying? Like I
feel like we spoiled it enough. We can talk about it. Did you like that? I didn't like it. It hurt me.
Yeah, it didn't seem like the smart decision.
No, yeah.
Because mostly because it was unnecessary. They could have made the exact same movie without doing that, and it wouldn't really be that different other than being a little bit more like poetic and well-rounded.
Mm-hmm. I get the theme that I'm cool with the theme of, you have a heritage that you don't want to accept, and you decide just to choose a different one, But I don't want that one. I wanted the one where it's like anyone could come into this.
Well, that's another character's arc. They don't have to both have that arc.
Oh, with
Kylo Ren. That's his whole fucking thing.
I guess so.
His parents and his grandfather are all like famous war people.
But he's trying to be like his grandpa.
I know, but he has like big identity issues and big like anger issues.
Yeah.
And
I guess identity is a big thing with this.
Yeah, he's to me he's really similar to Prince Zuko.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they just decided to do to Rey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it shouldn't have been that way.
That was never really her thing.
Yeah.
So even with that being like a good motif, they developed it in this last one.
Yeah. And I think it was another way of them trying to explain to the fans who were mad that she was so powerful that, hey, look, this is why. It's like, I didn't need it.
I'm more mad at those fans because I'm just like, man, in writing, you just get to decide reality. So like, what you can, like, they're the ones who say what can and can't happen. Exactly. So it's like, if you have a character who's super powerful, like
that's just the character.
Yeah. What you should get mad at is if that's the case, but then it's like they do something wrong with it, like it's uninteresting or like it doesn't serve a purpose or it's like unearned, Mm-hmm. But like with her, it was like, oh, it's a mystery.
Yeah, I mean, also it was not like
it was interesting.
I don't think she was all powerful either. Like she
is now.
Yeah, but like the Millennium Falcon, she runs into a bunch of stuff before she takes it off, and then she flies it. I mean, She has said she can pilot stuff. What?
In this movie, she's like crazy powerful.
Oh yeah, she's way more powerful than she was in the other ones, I'd say.
I mean, they kind of just chalk that down to training.
Yeah,
in the beginning of the movie.
She has a pole in the first movie that she fights with, so it makes sense that she'd be able to fight with a lightsaber. Yeah, and she wasn't even like, her opponent had just been shot. He was emotionally in a different place. She was running from the fight half the time, I think. If you watch it again, but.
What do you think about the people who think that just they have it wrong from the jump and that John Boyega should have been the lead of the whole franchise?
That they think that?
There are some people who think that Rey sucks not even because of who her character is, but just because the trailer to Force Awakens starts with Finn jumping up. Remember?
It was like subverting.
Remember back when we hadn't seen it yet and we all thought it was kind of going to be his movie?
Yeah, he was a new Jedi and all that.
Yeah, we thought like this a stormtrooper was going to become a Jedi and it was going to be this crazy like role reversal franchise. That's not what it is at all.
Yeah, no. I don't think
some people still want that.
I mean, that'd be interesting too, but I think the way they have it now is like just as interesting.
I remember my grandfather told me he didn't like The Force Awakens, and he was like, yeah, the main guy, he's no good. He wasn't a very good actor. He was like, he's playing a stormtrooper, and he comes off as a coward. You can't, he's the muscle. He has to.
That's Sark.
And I was like, Grandpa, like, that's the whole point. Like, it's not bad acting. His character just is cowardly. Yeah. Like, that's why. Damn it. Man. Like, the way people watch movies.
Yeah, no, it's silly. It's really silly. That's
he has really good taste in movies, but it's just one of those things.
Yeah. God. I wanted to say, when I watched the trailer for Rise of Skywalker, man, that trailer, I was so excited. The music was amazing.
So you're just sad.
No, yeah, I was so depressed. I couldn't sleep that night. After I saw it, I couldn't sleep. But what
I was so happy. I was like, that was cool.
You can think that. It's fine. Me and Brandon were arguing about whether or not Palpatine's actually going to be in it. Because I was like...
Whoa.
Because I was like...
That's such a funny argument.
Yeah, I know. Because I was on the side where I was like, having him in it is the stupidest decision you could ever make. And like, it would be so bad. And he was like, dude, I'm thinking they're going to do it because like, they gotta tie it together and stuff.
In the trailer of Force Awakens, they have some shots and lines of Luke and R2-D2 that are not in the movie.
Really?
Yeah. Remember, he's like, your father had it in your...
Oh, yeah, that's from Return of the Jedi.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, what they did was they just...
I don't know stuff.
Yeah,
there's probably people mad at me. but
no, that's fine here.
Wait, you're saying they flipped it?
What they did was they took the beginning of a monologue, and then instead of saying, wait, no, actually, I think they took the whole thing. I'm trying to remember.
Is it the original or did they like redo it?
No, it's the original.
Okay, but there's that shot of him by a campfire, and then he puts his hand.
That's in a vision that Rey has.
Is that in the movie too?
Yeah.
All right, I don't know what I'm talking. Well, I feel like there have been times though, especially with like the studio starting to reshoot stuff, like in Rogue One. There's a lot of times where trailers have stuff that are not even in the movie anymore, which is really weird considering how bad trailers are now.
Yeah.
So with Episode 9, if you just thought that was like a trailer sting and it wasn't like.
I thought that was a line that was going to be like brought back or something, because I thought, okay, that means that whoever the new Jedi is like going to be a Skywalker and the new Jedi and all that. Yeah, I think that's what they're going for. But
then he was just second one.
God.
I want to like have I wish I could have footage of you seeing that movie and then just the Curb Your Enthusiasm music on your face as you read the crawl.
Oh man, no, I was so scared. I was like, because my argument was like, okay, they're trying to make it look like the Emperor's in the movie because they're trying to do that thing where they trick the audience, you know? He's really going to be like a Force ghost or something. Yeah. Because having him brought back to life or whatever is going to be a dumb decision. And even Brandon was like, no, I agree it's a dumb decision, but they're going to have him in there. And the good way to do it is to make it so the plot is about him coming back. And then, so I was like, okay, that is a better way to do it. And then when the movie happens and he's already back to life and he's the main villain, I'm like, no! Literally everything I said that's bad is going to be this movie. So right from the start, I was kind
Yeah.
of like in a bad mood. But I was like, it's Star Wars. It's gonna be good.
I read the crawl and I was just picturing JJ being a kid like playing with action figures, and I was just like, right, okay, I buy it, and then it's like shot one, it's Kylo Ren like in a starship, he's all brooding, it's like, and then it's just like jumping through all these scenes. I was just like, I guess I'm just about to be like really saturated for 2 hours, and I was just like excited to have that happen. But I was very aware like fans are not gonna like that. Fans are not gonna like that.
Yeah, and it throws so much at you too. Like I feel like the first half is all plot, like moving forward, moving and moving. Every line even is almost just like moving the plot along.
Do you think they would ever go as far as to integrate the Star Wars franchise into the MCU?
No.
You don't think Disney would?
No.
You think they put culture over money that much?
I see what you're saying. I mean, I feel like there would be so much controversy.
But think about the money.
Yeah, but look at the blowback. But not even the money Last Jedi made wasn't enough to get over the blowback for that movie.
Okay, they have Spider-Man fighting Chewbacca.
What is this? I would not see that movie. How about that? I would not pay to see it.
But do you think the Star Wars fans outnumber like?
I don't think any Star Wars fan would go to see that movie.
I was thinking about that because I'm pretty sure it's like Josh was saying he thinks it's official that Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is going to be in the MCU.
Oh yeah.
So he's going to like officially be in like 2 franchises.
Yeah.
And there's no fucking way he's not going to like break the fourth wall and make some joke about it. Mm-hmm. And Josh thinks it's going to be brought in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. He thinks that one of the I think
that makes
if they do one of those classic scenes where there's a bunch of he's in a tunnel of portals and they're all different universes, and one of them is like it's just playing an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
And then like they all just come through.
I could see that.
Kevin Feige's like
yeah, that'd be the way to do it. That would be the only way to make it make sense, I guess. Because if you want to have the same actors that were in the other ones.
What I gotta say about Marvel that I love about them is I always have these like fun predictions about how they're gonna do things. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm always like, yeah, that's how they would do it, and they always it's never right. It's never what I think, and what they did is always like funnier and better.
Oh yeah, true. You're right.
Because like for instance, like I was like, man, there's probably gonna be a shot of Spider-Man like riding Iron Man like a surfboard or something, you know, and he's gonna be like, get off me, kid, like that. I'm like, and then instead he like whips onto War Machine and it like ruins his life. I'm like, yeah, that's way better.
Yeah. No, yeah, they think through it pretty well, I think. I mean, they're all fans, I'm sure.
In Civil War, I also thought I was like, I had like a toll of like bets I was making, and like one of them was like somebody's gonna make a Ant-Man Spider-Man bug joke.
Oh yeah, there never was.
There never was, and then in Endgame, like they finally made it, and I was like, yes.
That's great.
They're gonna make a dumb bug joke,
and Hulk makes it. It's great.
Hulk made, yeah. Bro, Hulk in Endgame makes me so goddamn happy.
I love that. Yeah, that was awesome. That was a good choice.
I can't believe how hard they stuck the landing on that.
Yeah, no, they did a great job.
That movie's like one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I completely get why some people are going to say it's not high art, but like, fuck you. Like, it's so good.
Yeah. Just go have some fun, dude.
My God.
I think that's a part, Disney just gave them, like, they trusted them so much because their track record, and they didn't have any backlash like Last Jedi, obviously. Yeah. But I think if a studio lets their team, like, just have free reign, and I mean if their team is fans, I guess if they're made up of fans who are also talented,
it's almost
they're gonna
like
make something great.
If you let artists do what they're specialized in,
do their job.
Things are better.
Yeah, that's why I think that.
Isn't it crazy how every time that happens, it's like beloved?
Yeah. No, I know. It's strange.
Gerard Carmichael. Do you know who he is? Gerard Carmichael?
It sounds familiar.
He's a stand-up comedian. Have you listened to the Igor album? He's the voice on the interludes.
Okay.
Yeah, he had his own like multicam sitcom. It was kind of almost like a modern Cosby Show. He's like really introspective, and his stand-up is like really dark, and it might not even make you laugh out loud, but he is funny, and he is like really fucking smart. And one thing he was saying is he was like, for people to like things, it has to be really, really specific. he was like, all the things that kind of just hit the basic quota of goodness and are unmemorable but good enough to be made or whatever, they're trying to be like really broad to like get the lowest common denominator, like the largest net of people to like it and spend money on it.
Yeah.
And he was like, and the things that are really specific, studio people are gonna look at and be like, this is weird, or this isn't relatable.
Yeah.
But then it's like the things that are extremely specific, they hit home so hard on such specific like emotions that like people just go along with it because like they like get it and like feel it so hard.
Yeah.
Like Forrest Gump is like specific.
People love when someone's passionate about something.
Yeah.
They'll watch it, I think.
And Endgame is like made by a bunch of people who like love what they're doing.
Yeah. And they're all friends
and
too.
I feel like the DC universe is like, all right, guys, we have to make this money.
Yeah. It's by a studio who is desperate, for sure.
There's money out there. We got to get it.
Yeah.
And then,
definitely.
Remember when David Ayer before Suicide Squad said "fuck Marvel"?
Yeah.
That was the worst move ever.
That was crazy.
And he was such a good director. He made Fury.
End of Watch, right?
He made End of Watch.
Okay, I didn't see End of Watch. I saw Fury. I liked it.
Ooh, you haven't seen End of Watch?
I know. I need to see that. It's on Netflix. I gotta watch that.
End of Watch is like perfect.
Really?
It's a good cop movie.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
It's good, dude. I love that movie.
Yeah.
But then he made Bright.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, you've made a good cop movie before.
I wonder how that happened. What went wrong?
Max Landis wrote
Oh
that.
yeah, Max Landis.
And
There we go.
then he got canceled.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't very good to begin with. He was just good at being an internet guy, right?
I liked his videos because I feel like he made me think about writing in ways that I hadn't before. But I was also like, why are you this diversive?
But like his scripts
or divisive?
weren't.
Oh yeah, no.
Like he did. What did he made? That he
Yeah,
didn't make anything. Just Chronicle. That was it.
He made Chronicle.
That was the only thing that he wrote that was good.
That's kind of it.
Yeah.
I watched his movie Me, Him, Her. It was alright.
Yeah. He directed that one, right?
What's up?
He directed that.
Yeah, he directed it.
Okay.
And then his like producing company gave him a budget of like $100 to make 100% of the marketing material for the movie.
What the heck?
Yeah. So he wound up making like 7 or so YouTube promos for it, and this is like the EPK for the movie.
Yeah, I was wondering why I didn't hear about it much.
He made the videos about how the studio is making him make these videos because they told him, "You've been viral on YouTube before. Make a viral video." So movie studios were just saying, "Go make a viral video," and he was like, "That's not how it works."
Jeez. Well, I mean, who cares now? I mean, he's kind of a monster, I heard. So
yeah. Apparently, that guy's a dick.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways.
Wait. Oh crap! There was something I was going to
His
say.
dad made the Thriller video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, his dad,
His
John
dad
Landis.
got canceled too.
He did?
Pretty sure.
He made Animal House and the Thriller video.
Oh, I think I'm Lasseter. I'm thinking of John Lasseter.
Oh, John Lasseter. John Lasseter got hit with accusations that he like would hug and touch people's shoulders like when they didn't want it and stuff. And I assume he just like came out and said like, I'm sorry and I didn't know and I'm gonna go away for a little bit. And then he like took sabbatical, and that was pretty much it. So like I don't know if that was like resolved with like the individual parties, but like he was a little bit on the lower end of the spectrum of some of these like horror stories.
Yeah.
But when he came back, Rashida Jones and like her partner wound up like leaving Toy Story 4 over it because they were gonna write it, so they still have writing credits, but I think he wound up having to like helmet more.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wait, Rashida Jones. Why does it sound so familiar? Is that Parks and Rec?
Yeah, and she's also Quincy Jones's daughter, who's like a legendary music producer.
No way.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, Rashida Jones is Quincy Jones's
Holy
daughter.
moly, that's awesome.
She directed a documentary on him last year, or this year maybe even. It's called Q. It's on Netflix.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Dude, you know what's crazy? The Office and Parks and Rec make like tons and tons and tons of jokes about how nobody knows what race she is and that she's like exotic and she's black.
Yeah. What the heck?
But like in The Office, like they made that joke so many times.
I love it.
Oh, and then Fez in that 70s show, like in real life he's Mexican, but in the show they like made countless jokes about what race is he.
God. Dude. Office and Parks and Rec, and then now Good Place. Just Michael Schur, dude. It's amazing.
I was watching Good Place with my friend who was into it, and I was not liking it. I thought it was like really cornball.
Did you start from the beginning?
No, I was just watching it out of context, but just the tone and the style of it, like it looks like the saturation is like 80% too high.
Oh,
like,
the coloring and stuff?
Yeah, there's something about it that looks kind of cheap, and then when it came to like the tone, like I get that their characters can't swear because they're in the Good Place, but like there's just something about the dialogue and everything where I was like, this is kind of kid show feeling.
I get that. It is very saturated. I don't know. I suggest watching.
I've heard like rave reviews of it. Though,
yeah.
So I should probably give it a better chance.
I'd say that. I mean, obviously there's some jokes that aren't going to hit, and there's some playfulness to it. But on terms, there's like it's really smart, and it's probably one of the most like smartest like comedies I've seen on TV right now.
I'll check it out. I'm still sad that Silicon Valley just ended.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
The series finale just happened, and They honestly could have made another 2 seasons if they just slowed down the progression of the last 2 seasons that they did. They kind of have the characters like hit these milestones just like faster, but like it's so good, dude. Mike Judge is like a genius. He made King of the Hill, Beavis and Butthead, Office Space, and like
I gotta watch that. I started watching Barry. I caught up.
Barry
with Barry.
is
I know
sick.
It's fantastic. I loved it. I did not want it to end. And now I gotta wait till March
I just
or
got
something.
caught up. I started Fleabag and
Good things.
I want to say something else, but I can't remember. I think it was like another like serious comedy.
Is it streaming or?
Yeah, I think so. Because like the main reason I even got into filmmaking was because of comedy. Honestly, like I'm like that. I feel like there's tons of people who are like, I like Star Wars or I like Tarantino or I like, and I was just like Judd Apatow movies, dude. I want to make like Knocked Up. Because like when I grew up, I remember I watched so many shows that I had at least one new episode of a show to watch all 7 days of the week. So I was like, How I Met Your Mother is Sunday, and Girls is Sunday, and like Thursday it would be like My Name is Earl, Community, The Office, Parks and Rec, 30 Rock, Scrubs,
all the comedies.
Scrubs, and then you get like Raising Hope event. Like they're like I've watched so Louis, Atlanta. Like
there's a lot of shows.
Yeah, and those wind up being like kind of some of the ones that like resonate with me the most. So like sometimes I feel like I have a little bit of a high bar because like You know how the internet kind of got really into The Office after it was done?
Yeah.
And then about the amount of time after The Office was on that Parks and Rec was created, that's like the amount of time after people liked The Office, they started liking Parks and Rec.
Mm-hmm.
I think Scrubs could be one of those shows that happens to, because that was on around the same era, and that's another one of those shows where it's just good because of an ensemble cast that are like really strong characters. And it has like a lot of like good dramatic stuff in addition to the comedy, but it's also just extremely memeable.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, people should fuck with Scrubs and Community more.
Yeah, definitely Community. I want to watch Scrubs. It's like, so you look at how many episodes there are of shows, it's so hard to like get the motivation to go into it.
With Scrubs, forget season 9 because
yeah, I know.
Okay, Scrubs got the standard 7-season order from NBC, but their 7th season was going to be the finale. It happened the year of the writer's strike.
Yeah, that ruined everything.
So season 7 is like kind of shorter, and the finale is a good season finale, but not even remotely a series. But they decided not to keep it somehow, so then ABC bought it and made season 8. And season 8 is like one of my favorite seasons. Like it's really good. I like it a lot. And the finale, I got like as emotional as I did when I watched the Office finale.
Oh yeah.
But then a few months later, they were like, "You want to make a spin-off?"
Yeah.
But then
they just made it season 9.
well, the creator wasn't allowed to call it its own show because they didn't think people would watch it, so they forced him to call his new show season 9 of Scrubs. But it barely has the original characters in it, and it's not good.
Ugh.
And it has Dave Franco in it.
I know.
That was the first thing I ever saw Dave Franco in.
Nice, dude. Or Superbad. You sure it wasn't Superbad?
Oh, you're right.
Because he's like a
He's
two-line
the soccer
role.
kid.
Yeah, one
He's
line.
like, shut up, Carl. I didn't shit myself in pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, that was like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I love that because that's like Seth Rogen making a movie and then having his friend's younger brother be in his movie just to make fun of him.
Yeah. He wrote that when he was like 13 too, right?
Yeah, him and
Jay something.
Evan Goldberg.
Wait,
Evan Goldberg.
Is it? Oh, I thought it was this other guy.
You're thinking of Jay Baruchel.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So
yeah.
Michael Cera and Jonah Hill's character's name are Seth and Evan.
Yeah.
And
It's
so like
literally just
yeah. So his
kids.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Goldberg. And they started writing Superbad when they were 13, and like he said that there are jokes in the movie from back then.
Jeez.
But basically like as they like wrote it every year until they were like 18 or so. So as it was being continuously written, they just updated the context, so like the sexual desires of the characters and like the parties, like it just got upped in scale over time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like this like 13-year-old perspective of women.
That's awesome. No, that's cool. I just realized though that so comedy got you into film.
Yeah.
Whereas like for me it was like drama. But I feel like the majority of stuff we made is the opposite. Like you've made a majority drama, I've made a majority of comedy.
Well, I've always really loved drama and I enjoy making them, and you're really funny, so it makes sense.
Yeah. So,
the main thing is like, and I'm I like the idea of if like one day I'm making these things I want to make, people can say like, oh, that's a Zane movie, because that just seems like a high compliment as an artist, that like you have something worked out enough that somebody could like distinguish that you made it. Like that's pretty cool. Yeah. But I really do like directors like Jon Favreau, and who directed Slumdog Millionaire? Danny Boyle. Where their movies are stylistically like not the same like ever, and their subject matter is completely different all the time. Jon Favreau obviously makes like franchise stuff now, but like, you know, it's like and even Spielberg, because something I didn't know for a while, the same cinematographer has filmed like every Spielberg movie. So the guy who shot like The Color Purple filmed the BFG.
Really?
but that means that like the difference in look, like they're such a dream team that they're like, okay, this one is gonna have the gritty, you know, like would they make Schindler's List, right? Yeah. So the dude who filmed Schindler's List filmed the BFG.
Amazing.
And then like The Post and so on, and then Ready Player One. So like when they're going into movies together, like they literally know how to like turn a lever and be like, it's gonna be one of these movies. Yeah. And I think that's really cool, because like while it would be cool to be like Tarantino or Wes Anderson, where it's like aesthetic and the same shit all the time, I like the idea of just doing something like completely. So it's like I'm down with making sci-fi, comedy, drama, like whatever.
Be very flexible.
Yeah, the thing about comedy movies is they're like slice of life human movies, and that's usually what I like react to the most, when it's like very just human being and like feelings based.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the best, like what they say, it's every movie is just a drama, but this, you know, that's like every genre movie. Like comedies are just dramas that are funny.
Yeah, Judd Apatow literally like said that recently, like in an interview or something like that. He was basically saying like a good comedy has to just be a really good drama, and then you like figure out how to make it funny. Yeah, I'm really frustrated with comedy as a genre right now, because I think like it's the best stuff out, like Jojo Rabbit and stuff. Like, first of all, the fact that movie even got made is insane, that they were allowed to make it. But second, like it's not mainstream or pushed to be mainstream, and it's like the comedy industry kind of now feels like the action movie industry, where it's like they're trying to make it really punchy, and a lot of comedies are just straight up also action movies these days, like Jumanji or Fist Fight or Central Intelligence.
Fist Fight.
Well, Fist Fight isn't an action movie, but like all these movies are like, it's like a shitty pun as a title, like Bad Moms or Mom's Night Out, not a pun, but and then it's like okay, this person that people like and this person that people like normally wouldn't be in something together, but in this movie they're at Las Vegas.
It's like what a producer thinks is funny.
Yeah, so like the whole, like Seth Rogen was saying that if he were to go pitch Superbad right now, they would not make it and consider it an indie film about friendship that would not make money.
Oh, that's
and
depressing.
it's his most successful movie he's ever made. He said he would have to go to like Netflix or A24 to make Superbad.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, and like you look at The Big Sick, which is really good. Like that, like nobody saw that, but tons of people. But there was a time when like it was like The 40-Year-Old Virgin and Anchorman and like all these like really good, you know. Like, so anytime I see like a legitimately good comedy coming out, I get so happy because it's like hard. That's where like TV kind of fills in the gap these days, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't see Judd Apatow comedies popping up like they used to.
He started doing stand-up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad. But I mean, it's sad that he's doing that.
Well, Kumail Nanjiani's all buff as shit now.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Marvel hero.
Ripped.
Dude,
everyone's a Marvel hero now.
His wife is probably like, yo, Marvel's paying for my husband to just have Captain America's body.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought that picture was fake. I was so surprised.
I can't believe it.
I know, it's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah. They that same movie, I always forget his name. It's like Henry Tyler or something. He plays Paperboy in Atlanta. He's in that superhero group too. What is it? The Eternals?
Oh yeah. That's him? I didn't know he was in that movie.
Yeah, he's in that movie too.
Yeah, he's in everything.
But
now,
like,
I feel like.
But he's like overweight, so I don't know if they're gonna make him buff because they usually just keep like overweight people overweight.
Yeah,
movies.
For like a joke too.
For a joke, and then also like they're already playing people like that in other things where you can't. That's the thing, in things like so like Chris Pratt and Kumail Nanjiani were both in sitcoms. Where like halfway through a season, and they were just buff all of a sudden. Nobody cares when it's like that. But if you're just a fat character, then you're like skinny all of a sudden. Like,
was he buff in what's it called?
Parks and Rec?
No.
Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it, but people online were like, yeah, buff Dinesh was kind of weird.
Oh, wow. Incredible.
I can't wait for the internet to discover Community.
Yeah.
Because people really like Donald Glover, but
how have they not
Community is still this sleeping giant of like...
Crazy.
Yeah.
I introduced it to my girlfriend. She loves it. We're like season 3 or something.
Who would not love that show?
Yeah, it's impossible. I mean, you got to get past the first few episodes, and then you realize what the show really is. Obviously.
Well, what's crazy about it is I think they fired Dan Harmon season 3, and then he came back season 4.
No. No. 4, and then came back 5. I think. Yeah. Because we're around 3 right now. It's good. It's still good. 4 is like 13 episodes, I think, and that's when he's gone. And then 5 he comes back and has a redemption, and then 6 is on Yahoo, right?
So that could totally be right. I just really have the number 3 drilled into my head, so I just feel like that is the season.
Okay. I
could be totally wrong though.
Okay.
But and what you're saying even makes more sense to me. This is just purely a gut thing.
Okay.
But because the thing is I kind of like the non-Dan Harmon season. I'm not saying it's like better or anything. It's just like I never stopped liking the show.
Yeah.
It does get kind of out there, but I like the whole thing. But what's crazy is like NBC was trying to manipulate that show so much and like eventually cancel it because not necessarily because there were multiple reasons, but it was the most popular show on Hulu.
During its run, you mean?
Yeah, so they weren't getting any ad revenue off of people watching it live because it was so popular online.
What the heck?
And all the plot lines were so non-traditional, like with the love arcs and stuff, that they were like, we need to fix this.
What is this show?
Because with The Office, they were, and Scrubs, they were like used to having, and Parks and Rec, frankly, they were used to having people like tune in and be like, what's going to happen?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because all those other shows had romances.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember after season 1, Dan Harmon had this interview where he was like, yeah, all these shows have like either love lines or love triangles. He was like, I want to do an octagon where it never really even makes sense.
Yeah, when you're watching it, you can kind of tell that's what's going on.
Yeah, he said he wanted to make the show because like he realized that the people you see in the elevators and in line at Circle K and at your community college and whoever it is, even the people you have like really negative interactions with, he was like, ultimately that's like who you're interacting with in life, and therefore they are your community. And he wanted to make a movie about that. And then he basically just turned his own really, really smart, feely yet alcoholic and sometimes mean personality, and he just like had Joel McHale like.
Oh, that was him? That's like...
Jeff is basically Dan Harmon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, like, he's redeeming because he's hot.
Yeah.
Dan Harmon just has to live with
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Good to know.
There's this really good documentary called Harmontown about how... Do you know what that is?
I heard about it.
So he has a live... It's so complicated. So it's a podcast, but it's also a live show, and it's also D&D.
What the heck?
Yeah.
What?
Like, all at once.
Wow.
And with, like, celebrity guests and sometimes not celebrity guests.
Okay. That's cool.
And there's a D&D episode of Community.
Yeah.
And the Dungeon Master is, like, his, like, sidekick. And he only exists because he was a super fan that muscled his way into being, like, the guy, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because they met at a Harmontown appearance. And Harmontown is, like, taking place during the time, like, when he's canceled. Kind of like the Conan O'Brien documentary. Mm. And, like, honestly, it makes him look like just a piece of shit.
Oh, man.
But, like, but the whole point of Community is about, like, redeeming people, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, that's the thing. Like, he's kind of, like, verbally, like, berates his girlfriend a little bit in it. And, like, they talk about it. And he's, like, alcoholic. And, like, it's not good. Like, tons and tons of people have, like, voiced having, like, issues with him, but still loving him. Wow. Yeah, like, he was like, the top... or at least favorite writer on the Sarah Silverman show, and she fired him, and they were like good friends because she was just like, you're fucking up too much.
Yeah.
But like all these people still love him because he is extremely like self-aware, and he like tries to like work on himself and be good to people, and that's kind of like what Community is about.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a self-destructive like cancelable type guy who like doesn't get canceled, but
yeah, he's
like really fucking funny when he's like just ranting about shit. So there's like tons and tons of Harmontown just clips on YouTube, but the movie is also called that, and it's like a documentary about his... Sorry, I just talked for like 5 minutes.
You're good. I'm interested. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, it's really good. Have you heard of the Conan O'Brien one?
Yeah, I watched that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved Conan, so I had to watch that one.
I love when I was like in 4th grade, I started watching Dave Letterman. So I had like this kind of sense of humor like at a really early age for just kind of dry like wit, you know? And then I found out about Conan, which is like the super cartoonish version of that, and I was just like, yo, this is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. The like his comedy is almost as in like a like I don't even know how to explain it, but the way I saw it when I was a kid is like, how stupid can we make this on live television? Like,
but then also be smart about it.
Yeah. Like I was watching this and I'm like, nobody else would do this, and like it's insane. I'm watching this on live television right now.
If you go watch old Letterman stuff too, he's my favorite interviewer like ever. He loves people. He really loves music, so he gets really excited about the musical guests even when he's like old. And but he's so like Conan is like a direct like disciple of his in a sense, like, and like fucking like he's funny in the same way, but he's just like really passive, and it's just like the way those two like ran their shows was so good. And what's cool too is like neither of them were even like famous. That was like when they first started. That was kind of like a time when like TV executives and the way they made decisions were completely different.
Yeah, because wasn't he just a writer? Nobody knew him.
Letterman was a comedian, and Conan was a writer at SNL.
Yeah, and Simpsons
who beforehand was a writer at Simpsons.
Yeah.
Lorne Michaels knew Conan and had him do it. But Conan recently told some story where he was saying, like, Lorne, like, he didn't have as much confidence in him as he thought he did. Because it was one of those things where you're like, why is this guy picking me? But then also, like, well, if he's picking me, I must be, like, the guy. Yeah. You know, because he wanted to rise to the occasion. And then, like, I guess he heard some Lorne story where, like, it wasn't as meditated as you would think. But normally Lorne Michaels is known for being like this like godfather like chess player when it comes to these like moves. Like I remember Seinfeld asked him like, how did you know Jimmy Fallon would be Jimmy Fallon? And like he gave this long answer about, and he was just like, yeah. So then I put him in the chair.
Wait, he decided to put him on late night, or you mean
Lorne
SNL?
Michaels like created and executive produces SNL, but he also executive produces Late Night and The Tonight Show and Portlandia and 30 Rock.
Yeah, I knew those two. But
Like,
I didn't know he did late night and Tonight Show.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He kind of like runs like everything.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's like the guy. And what's funny too is he's known for not smiling or laughing.
I know. Yeah, I remember.
But he has this. Do you know why Bill Hader exists?
Because he was born.
Megan and he went to Scottsdale Community College.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
That's nuts.
Okay, so Bill Hader was going to film school at SCC.
Okay.
And then they went to LA or something like that, and he became like an editing PA. And he also did PA jobs sometimes. Apparently he was a PA on a Schwarzenegger movie and made Schwarzenegger a sandwich. But he was mostly an editing PA, so he was just filing like metadata.
Wow.
He knew Megan Mullally, Nick Offerman's wife. Okay. Nick Offerman plays Ron Swanson.
Yes.
And she's a comedy and actress as well. She's really good. Megan Mullally in conversation talked about Bill Hader to Lorne Michaels under there was no point to it. It just came up. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, this guy, Bill Hader, blah, blah, blah. Bill Hader like arranges to have a personal meeting in his office with Bill.
Wait, Bill? You said Bill Hader? You mean Lorne Michaels?
Yeah,
oh,
Lorne
okay.
Michaels summoned Bill Hader to his personal office because Megan Mullally brought him up in a story, and this is a guy who's just an editing PA.
What?
Just a guy, like literally just a guy.
Okay.
They had a conversation about literally nothing show business related. Like, I think it was like about boats or some shit. Because Lorne Michaels is known for being kind of like Bruce Wayne. Like, and being like really cryptic and just not making sense.
Okay.
But being this mastermind. Like, he's known for this.
Okay.
Then, so Bill leaves the meeting. He's like, the fuck was that all about? and then Lorne Michaels gave him an audition on SNL. And he became an actor.
Wow.
And then he became, in my opinion, like the best person ever on SNL. Well, I mean, I don't know if you can say he's my personal favorite, but there's tons of people that like can be considered the best. But like, and now he created Barry, and it's like one of the best shows on TV
and
right
he, like,
now.
Writes and directs a lot of it.
And this all happened because Lorne Michaels sized the guy up and said, "You have what it takes."
Wow.
That's the thing. People get confused by Pete Davidson, but then I'm like, well, yeah, he's like the youngest cast member ever, but Lorne Michaels like decided it. So,
well, they're also like, I think people are confused because they keep pushing him so hard, but it's because he's like in the news so much, right?
Honestly, SNL doesn't push him that hard, but when he started dating Ariana Grande, like he became a celebrity, and then they have to acknowledge that sometimes to make it funny. But like I think it's maybe just fans of him push him.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it in, like, honestly, probably
I tune in every now and again. Somebody did so I watched this YouTube video about SNL and what's going on with it, and he actually did like a data check. And
Drew Goodman?
Yeah, Drew.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah. He was talking about how like there's like a palpable increase in political sketches. Yeah. SNL political sketches used to be like really good.
I know, I loved them.
Some of them are good now, but most of them are just patting themselves on the back, and it's really annoying.
Yeah, I know. I totally understand that.
With liberal stuff, I'm just mostly annoyed with like echo chamber patting ourselves on the back, because then it's like we're just not paying attention to what's going on or new ideas, and I'm just like, so when SNL just kind of honestly, I'm less mad at SNL and more mad at Seth Meyers, because he's doing that closer look segment, which like is basically on trending like every week.
Is it on his show, you mean?
Yeah, so on his show, he does, instead of a traditional monologue, he basically does Weekend Update, but he always does this segment called a closer look, and it's like extremely similar to John Oliver's thing, where he does like 20 minutes on a subject. Every episode of Seth Meyers, besides very few, almost all of them, for years now, every single night it's about Trump.
Yeah.
And they are informative and they are funny, but sometimes the jokes are shitty. And the other thing is, I'm like, dude, John Oliver, like, he goes from like opioids to mobile houses to like, he has this huge spectrum, and like it's really awesome. And with Seth, I'm like, all right, if you want to keep it housed within politics, at least like change it up.
And he's doing it every night, right?
Yeah, like every
that's crazy. I mean, Weekend Update, it was every week.
Yeah, and it's called a closer look, so it's like supposed to be like diving into things. And usually it's an issue, like it's never positive either. You know, but I'm like, man, you could do a whole one on like Bernie's healthcare plan, and then a whole one on like Yang's campaign, and then do one on like this specific town and what's happening. You know, but
it's all just Trump.
Yeah, and then there's that thing where he roasted Donald Trump to his face at that Obama correspondence dinner. And a lot of people are like, that's when Trump decided to run.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
And he jokes about that sometimes, like, yeah, I did it, I'm the guy. But then he like keeps doing the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the DNC isn't doing new polls. Anyways, we can talk about movies. I'm just mad. I'm very much so a Democrat, but the DNC like makes me so pissed.
I know, same here, dude. I agree. What can you do?
I like
vote.
I like Yang. I like Bernie. I like Tulsi. I like Elizabeth, but I don't think she should win. I like a lot of people, but the DNC is just everything's just really manipulative right now.
100%.
Like this election cycle has gotten me like watching like the news like way more than I ever have, and it's
same. I mean, you should.
It's like I now look at MSNBC kind of the same way I look at Fox.
Yeah.
And ABC isn't that great either. CNN I found to be the best, and even they fuck up like all the time. And then I wind up like having to like, and I wind up like reading a lot of articles, but then I have to like watch YouTube videos because then like the articles are fucked up and like.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta look past the people that are controlled by the money. You gotta like see through the lines that they're saying, and like
there's this YouTube news show, and like they even do coverage like at the debate sometimes, so they're not like YouTubers, called The Hill.
And like Rising with the Hill.
Rising with the Hill, because she used to be on like NBC, and then I think she got fired or something.
Yeah,
so then
she like ran for something.
Oh, is that what it was?
No, I don't know if that's why, but I know she ran for something, didn't win.
Yeah.
But now she does this.
Yeah,
That's
but
cool.
yeah, so now they're like extremely pragmatic and just kind of talk about like numbers and data and shit. And they've had on Bernie, Yang, and Tulsi like a number of times for interviews and stuff. And just long form conversation is so much better.
Yeah, I know. There's not much you can get from like a quick segment on a video. That's why podcasts are so cool. You can talk for hours.
SNL did this really good sketch recently called Father Son Podcast, and it was a commercial for like it was like these mics almost exactly, but they were like connected, and they're like, buy the Father Son Podcast pack.
Oh, no.
You can finally have a relationship with your son by creating a weekly podcast with him, where you guys can talk about your week and your feelings.
Aww.
And it's just them having like a normal father-son chat, but then like it zooms out and they're like in the booth.
That's actually really smart.
I was thinking about it. It's funny because like podcasts are super big right now, because I think people's brains are like recognizing the deficit they have of like not enough like time just thinking and like digesting things. So like things that are have a little bit more of a personal touch, a little bit longer, a little bit more considered, like people really respond to that.
I mean, it seems realer than most things you watch on TV and on radio and stuff, obviously.
But it does make me laugh though, where now it is the meme like, I'm gonna make a podcast.
I know, well, everyone wants to, but
I'm at this point in life where I'm not gonna like not do shit because of thinking stuff like that, because I'm like,
there's no need to.
Because something I was thinking about yesterday, I was watching this like 2009, 2011 like YouTube videos with Nick, and they were like viral videos, and some of them only had like 60,000 views, but at the time they were like the biggest video ever on YouTube, you know?
Yeah.
And I was saying how like, 2011, that doesn't even feel that long ago. I was in high school. There were big people on YouTube back then, and I was like, that was like this time of year where YouTube was established enough to where you felt like there was no possible way you could ever do it.
Yeah.
Like but it was actually the best time to do it. Because people now who have like started from there, like they're good. Like they.
I know. They have this way of making you think that you don't have a chance. But I mean, you just gotta try.
I think it's just the natural way of thinking. I think we as people like look at like what other people do, and we're like, that's a different type of person. Like we don't really think of a lot of things that other people do as being like attainable.
Yeah.
But like when we were in film school, I remember like freshman year, the teachers a lot of the time would say things like, Now listen, this is a really hard job, and you're gonna have to work really hard, and it's long hours, and there's unions, and it costs a lot, and it's expensive, and it's not, and you have to freelance, and there's no job security, and if you don't like that, get out now. But they're saying, but if and this and this and this, but you could be, you know. Mm-hmm. And I remember just thinking like, okay, because I remember like it really just came down to like, oh, all the people who this scares and then they leave, like they're not filmmakers, which is fine. But then I'm like, if this is a thing that I apparently want to do, I'm like, if I just am okay with all those things, then it's fine.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right, let's start doing that.
Yeah, it's how they weed you out, and you got to learn not to get weeded out. Right?
Yeah. But now like we see so much stuff on the internet, like literally everything feels like insurmountable.
Yeah. I it's hard not to let it get you down, but like also you can just live your life and not do it. It's the same outcome as trying to do it and living your life, right?
I don't remember who said it, but there's a saying. It's like anytime you're doing something, that's time spent not doing another thing. So it's just like you kind of just have to decide. but if the thing you're doing is nothing and just like thinking, you know?
Yeah, like, you're still doing nothing.
Yeah, because if you're just like sitting around all the time and you're just like, fuck, should I do this or should I do this? Yeah. Or is this the best use of my time, or is this gonna be fruitful? Is this gonna work out, or no? I should have.
Yeah.
Then you just kind of get into like a mental trap, and then you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And then you're just making yourself like sad and anxious and mad. Like you really gotta like break out of that. Mm-hmm. That's why I like meditate and journal and stuff, because sometimes I gotta slow down the gears and be like, what's happening right now? What's going on? Is any of this real, or am I just freaking myself out?
That's something I gotta get into. Talia's been doing a lot of yoga, trying to get me to do it, but I cannot stretch yoga for the life of me. So and I get so bored, but I gotta try it.
Here's what I'll say. I was when I was a kid, I was a really picky eater. I was really anti-establishment and like group organized things. So like the idea of going to church or being in team sports or anything that involved me putting forth this like extra effort, I dragged my feet on a lot of things. And like it came to like sports, it came to like extracurriculars. I was really only concerned with like media and art and just having a good old kid time. And I was like a super picky eater. I was really overweight. I never like exercise and all those things, and like I think like the barrier of entry to like getting into like losing weight and exercising and doing yoga and stuff like that was really like kind of like what you said, it's boring.
Yeah.
And there's also the side of it where there's like a vanity thing where you're like, I don't want to care about how I look, you know, what if somebody sees me, you know, because you don't want to be like the gym guy or like the yoga guy. But then it's just like everybody who's in there is really just minding their own business and doing something because they like want to feel good, you know? And what I found is like the first like 10 times I meditated, it was like really, really hard because I couldn't stay focused and I felt like I was doing it wrong and it was frustrating, and sometimes I'd feel like I didn't get anything out of it. But because of the way like neural pathways like literally generate when you just do things over and over again, like that's just literally the ingredients for how like skills are built and like muscle memory forms and increased reward systems are built. Mm-hmm. I started meditating, and eventually like I had a like a way clearer mind, and I could control my breath more, and I could like calm myself down. I'm just like, oh, this works. So when it came to like yoga and stuff, I'm like, oh fuck, this hurts really bad, and I gotta go be here for an hour and this and that. But then eventually it's like, oh man, my body feels so good, and I haven't moved that way in a while, and like it's like pain, but kind of like euphoric pain a little bit, you know. And then it's like anytime, like right now I'm like being like really terrible on all my habits, honestly. I need to like kick the health shit back into gear. But it's like once you just like start doing all those things over and over again, you just kind of just like feel good, and then you're like, oh, I could have just been feeling like this whole time.
Yeah, I know. I hear that. I gotta try it.
I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just saying what happened.
Yeah, no. I mean, I feel like that could happen to anyone. It could probably happen to me too. It's just when I go to the gym, like I want to go to the gym so I can feel good and be better. But I'm just so bored at the gym. Like no matter I'm there for like an hour.
I felt the same way. I'm like, why am I here?
Yeah. I know. I don't go very often, but when I do, it's just so boring.
Well,
so.
I like when I first started, I would really, really need music on the treadmill. Mm-hmm. And then like I tried doing podcasts even, and I couldn't because it was like too distracting. But then eventually I was like, oh, I need podcasts. Like I need to like hear people talk. Like music isn't enough, you know? Mm-hmm. And like I would get bored, and like there would be like a lot of pain, and it's like repetitive, and then like I don't even like look different the next week, you know? And it's just, and then I remember I was like watching some YouTube channel, and they said like it takes 1 month of exercise to like build a habit, 2 months to notice a difference and 3 months for people you know to notice a difference. And I was just like, okay, I'll run with that. And like I found it to be like super accurate. And I think like it got to a point where like when I'm doing yoga or exercising, I'm just really, really focused on my breath. And it's kind of similar to meditation where like I'm so focused on the task at hand and I'm not like thinking about other stuff or even really thinking about being there. I'm just kind of doing it. Like I'm like locked in that like sometimes I don't even need like music or I don't even want it, honestly, because it's like almost distracting and it's just kind of like good, like alone, like brain processing time. But it took like literally months to like get to that point. And that's the problem of doing like anything new, because you're like, months? Months?
I know. Yeah. I should start. I'm feeling a little unhealthy nowadays. So I really do. Like the other day, oh my God, I was like, I woke up and I had this huge pain right here. And I was like, what? This is strange. Did I sleep on it wrong? And then I was like, no, it's more the insides, like my insides. And I asked my parents about it. Like, probably just digesting something. And I'm like, oh no. And I looked it up and I got all scared because like, did I get something clogged down there? And so I've been eating pretty poorly. So
what do you eat?
I mean, I don't know. Chicken patties.
yeah, like Costco chicken patties.
Yeah, no. I feel like regular stuff. I try to stay healthy every now and then, have a banana. No, but I obviously it's not the best. But no, yeah, I mean, it went away after like 2 days. So I was like, okay, something was definitely inside me not working right. So I've been cooling it on overeating and eating the wrong stuff. So now I should probably work out.
2019, I just made most of my like resolutions going into this year were like kind of health based, and towards the end of the year I've like slipped on a lot of them. But it got me into like the form of like having the habit of it and also knowing that I can do those things. So I feel pretty confident I can kick things back into gear. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve, so I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to restart this like tomorrow. Nice. But I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Sometimes you just lose your train of thought like that, dude.
Yeah.
It's all right, man.
We were talking about like eating unhealthy and shit. I've been getting that Popeyes chicken sandwich way too often.
Oh no.
It's only $4.
I gotta try that still. I love the cane sandwich so much that it's like, what can
you get the sandwich at Cane's?
Yeah, because it's the same thing as the chicken strips, but with bread.
I know, but the bread could be toast.
Yeah, I guess so.
And the toast is better than those buns.
I agree. I agree with you.
Whoa.
They gotta make the buns the toast.
Can you imagine how much money they would make if they replaced the coleslaw with mac and cheese?
You think? I don't know. I wouldn't really buy either one.
You don't like either?
I like both, but I wouldn't go out of my way to.
Whoa! I don't like coleslaw. I'm a coleslaw hater. Well, I feel like every single person I've ever seen order at Cane's are like, "Hi, I'll get a box combo, and I'm gonna replace the coleslaw with another sauce, or I'm gonna replace the coleslaw with more fries." Like it's almost like they give you the coleslaw as like a mystery game of like, what extra side am I gonna get? And that's where I'm like, mac and cheese.
I can't do mac and cheese. It's just too much cheese. I don't know. It makes my stomach feel weird.
I'm like more in shape now, but I still have the exact same cravings as I did when I was like 260 pounds. So I fully want to eat like 2 full pizzas or like a gallon of mac and cheese. Like I
you have to hold back so often.
Honestly, like it just became habit. Like I'm used to it at this point because like I remember like the first time I like was like skinnier and then I ate the amount of food I used to eat and I like was in so much pain. Yeah. I was like, whoa, that's what I was doing.
That makes sense.
Because I used to eat like 5 pieces of like fried chicken anytime like we got any, which is like a lot of fried. That's like 8,000 calories.
Holy.
No, it's maybe. I don't know.
Well, no, obviously it's hyperbole, but
maybe.
Well, I'm looking it up. No, I definitely eat way too many calories. That's something I'm gonna eventually. It's gonna dawn on me.
You're skinny. You're so skinny. What? You're not fat.
No, I know. I'm saying eventually my metabolism isn't gonna be as good as now, and I'm gonna die.
Apparently, technically, you have a bad metabolism.
Oh.
Because science, because it's not supposed to do that.
Oh, okay.
I think I heard someone like explain once that like when you have like when you gain weight, like just like a quote unquote normal person, like you have a good metabolism, and people who like burn through it and like
it's not supposed to be that way.
No, because I think like the main reason it exists is so like if you're doing something wrong, like your body's like, hey, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like people can be like skinny fat where like their blood is really bad, but
that makes a lot of sense.
But they're like thin.
That's like with the people who they can't feel pain. It's like you should be able to feel pain so you know what's happening to your body. Like you put your hand on the stove and it doesn't hurt you. You're like, you just ruined your skin though.
That's literally what it is. I mean,
yeah, that makes sense.
I think everything in like the world is like that though, kind of. Like that kind of feedback response of like good and bad.
Yeah. Emotionally too.
Well, I feel like as I've gotten older, every single time I've learned a lesson, it usually like boils down to like, I think life is kind of just like this constant balance of like yin and yang in the sense that it's like the difference between quick and easy with repercussions and not that satisfying versus like long and hard fought and like really rewarding. And that comes down to like the art you make, relationships, learning new skills, eating good, just like anything that like remotely like requires discipline or doing the quote unquote right thing, like sleeping correctly, like living with like balance and like kind of working hard in all these areas. It's like we're kind of built for that to like make us feel really good. And then all the other things where it's like drugs and fast food and social media and like Tinder and like all these things, it's like it's kind of like eating chocolate. You're like, that's it's like crazy good. But
it's like, short-term happiness.
But for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, I gotta keep.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're in that habit.
Well, I think every single person has like 80 of those things.
Yeah.
And like life is just like trying to figure out how to like be better about them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We should probably wrap this up.
Okay, wait, before we do, what's your Star Wars rankings? Including every live action movie. Do every live action.
Okay.
Not just the saga.
Okay. I'm going to start from worst.
Yeah, from
because
top.
some of them mean so little to me that I just have to get them out of the way.
Gotcha.
All right, I'm going to say the worst Star Wars movie is definitively Episode 2.
Okay.
Because it's the prequel that's just the silliest and has nothing memorable about it for me. The second worst Star Wars movie is Episode 1. It's a lot better than Episode 2 for one reason only. Pod racing.
Yeah.
After that, I would go Episode 3 because honestly, it's way not as bad as the other two in my opinion.
Okay.
It's not very good. Like none of them are very good, but like he's being Anakin and he has the higher ground. And,
all right, I'm hearing you.
You're hearing me. Like there's cool shit. There's cool shit. From there, I would go. All right, Solo.
Okay.
Solo just Phoebe Waller-Bridge as that robot was hilarious, and I love Donald Glover. They really did not make me give a shit about Han Solo. Like I love the current look of Star Wars, and I thought it looked great, but I was not captivated. Like I just did not find myself engaged really. Oh god, this is the part where I have to be I have to offend Star Wars fans because now all the good ones are left.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I made that yet.
Okay.
Oh, this is gonna be fucked up for a lot of people.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm gonna say that this isn't necessarily what I think are the best, but rather what I personally like.
Okay.
And what I think are the best, but I also don't care that much about the franchise. My next least favorite this is my 5th least favorite, is the original Star Wars.
What?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
All right, see you guys. I'm DJ. No.
I get that it's amazing. Oh wait, no. Sorry. Rogue One.
I was gonna say, are you remembering Rogue One?
Rogue One. Yeah. Okay. I like Rogue One, but it's also just boring in the same way, but it's not as boring. Okay. The trailer made me like really excited to like her more than Rey, because I was like, yo, she looks like she's gonna be like this badass, and then like in the end, she's just like watching another character get the flash drive for her, and she doesn't have agency, and
wait, no, she gets it.
Kinda.
But then she sends it away.
She's like watching him climb the tower, like he.
No, she gets it.
Does she?
Yeah.
Do I have this backwards?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
She sends it away, and then it goes up to space, and then she stays down.
But isn't she like keeping watch while he like has to scale like a thing? and retrieve
No,
it?
it's opposite. It's the other way around.
Fuck.
I think they both jump in eventually.
All right, I don't know. Well, I just remember thinking like the characters were just kind of weak and it wasn't.
Yeah, no, I mean that is the weakest part is the characters. In that movie.
Okay. After that, the original Star Wars.
Wait, is this the last time you watched it? The time you watched it with us in college?
I have not seen it in like 5 years. Just let me finish.
Okay, just making sure.
It's really, really good. I just personally like. Every single time I've ever seen it, I recognize that like what the story is and what the characters are and all that stuff is good. And obviously like the CGI is like beyond amazing for like what it was at the time. Like there's so many good things about it, but I just don't find myself like actually caring when I watch it. Like I just wasn't somebody that saw that original trilogy and like felt stuff. Like I just it just never felt magical to me. And some of the dialogue and stuff is like corny to the point that I feel like the character relationships at times are like unearned almost.
Okay.
And so I really like the new trilogy just because the way it's been modernized. I know that they're not technically better movies, but my dumb brain just likes them more.
I mean, you can. It's fine. It's whatever hits you. But I'd say those are corny too, though.
No, they are.
Okay.
But I guess what I'm saying is, you'll see in a second. After that, ooh, boy.
You can offend me. It's fine.
I'm just having to make a decision. Yeah, all right. I'm just gonna say it. The next one is Episode 5, which is the best Star Wars, and I know it's the best Star Wars. But just everything I just said about the last one, just copy and pasted onto this one.
Yeah.
When she said I love you and he said I know, like it made me mad because I was like, you two don't love each other. You've only had like 6 lines of dialogue to each other. Like all you do is make jokes at each other.
What? No.
Like it's not. They don't have like a Marriage Story style like fleshed out relationship. Like they make like quips.
They've had you could tell that they are connected.
Because they're telling me they are, but it's
no.
not.
Even from the very beginning of that episode, they're like, you can tell that Leia doesn't want him to go, and he wants her to tell him that, but he has to go.
I know, but I don't know why because I haven't seen them together. Like it feels like they're telling me, and I'm not like seeing it.
Okay.
So like I agree with you, but it's not. It wasn't good enough. I was like, this isn't good enough. And then honestly, Episode 5 is a lot better.
Wait.
Yeah, you're about to.
Wait. I just remembered Rise of Skywalker exists, and you didn't have it below 4 or 5. Oh God!
I really liked it. What can I say?
Okay, keep going.
The next one is Episode 6. Just because the original trilogy. Oh wait, okay. The rest of my list is just in order of how they came out.
Wait, Rise of Skywalker is your favorite?
I think so.
What?
Not because it's the best. I just had the best time.
Okay.
Because I was willing to ignore that she was related to him to make the other stuff I liked to like be fine. I don't know. Like,
are you sure it's not like because it's the most recent watch?
That's also a big part of it.
Okay.
It's probably because it's. Okay, really what it is Episode 6 I had more fun watching because it has like Ewoks and a lizard monster and Boba Fett, and I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah.
And then
that's the corniest of them all.
I know, it's fun. Not as corny as that dialogue.
The dialogue's corniest.
Oh, okay, but then people are gonna hate me. Okay, Force Awakens. I was so excited to watch that movie, and I loved it. I loved the cinematography and the aesthetic and just everything. Like I just loved that movie. I didn't even give a shit that it was so similar to Episode 4 because I'm like, shut up, it's a new movie.
Yeah,
it's good. And Episode, like I kind of enjoyed watching that one more than 8, but The Last Jedi just has my favorite shit I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie. Like the light speed thing and just like it was just so cool. That I was like, I have to feel like there's parts of it I don't even like watching. Like I don't like Canto Bight, so I'm gonna put it higher because of the stuff that's so cool in it.
Yeah, that's most people.
And Episode 9 was just this fun ride of a movie where I got to turn my brain off and be like, yeah, Star Wars, cool scenes. Like I was never annoyed. There were things that I disagreed with, but I was just having a good old time. See, like, this is a dumb guy opinion. This is a dumb guy's ranking of Star Wars.
I mean, if you didn't grow up with it like I did, it makes sense why this is your ranking.
If I was going to give a quick power ranking, like 5 is the best. And
this is ranking. No, admit it. This is the ranking based off what people keep saying about the series,
I think from filmmaking, like I really do take personal like enjoyment out like and quality like as separate things. I think 5 is the best, 4 is next because it's like the original, it's so good. Then 6, and then of the original, and then of the new trilogy, 8 is the best, and then Force Awakens because obviously Force Awakens is better than 9, and then from there, I can see people liking some of the spin-offs more than 9, but I just find them too boring to be better than 9, and then the prequels they just. I think I was correct earlier.
Yeah.
And I think that's how it probably goes, but
yeah, a lot of people switch 1 and 2. Like some people like or think 2's worse. Some people think 1's worse.
Pod racing.
Okay, well here. With me,
what's your list?
1's the worst.
Go into as much detail as you want because I talked for a while.
That's fine. Yeah. 1 is the worst to me because it's just like you have the originals and they're like this. They have all these ideas.
Yeah.
And then 1 is like, I want to be different, but I want to be the same. But what's different ways where I can shift people's ideas of Star Wars? Put midichlorians in there. Put Jar Jar Binks in there.
The midichlorians are the dumbest thing I've ever. Go ahead.
No, I completely agree with that because, I mean, the Force is supposed to be like this like religious thing. Like Star Wars is less sci-fi and more fantasy.
But it's but like the Force is also like extremely like faith-based. So then when they make it like these germs, I'm like, what?
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. It's just not as inspiring, not as moving. And then Jar Jar is obviously a mess. A lot of it's boring. You got like this whole 30-minute act where it's just them talking politics. A lot of the CGI is a mess. I don't think what's his name? I'm even forgetting his name.
Sir Ian McKellen.
No, Darth Maul. I don't think Darth Maul is that great. I mean, he looks cool, but he's nothing.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Did you forget he was in the movie? Because I feel like that's...
I didn't know which movie he was even in.
Yeah.
So I'm actually even happier now that I have 1 higher than 2. Uh-huh. But I do really like that Darth Maul fight, but he is just kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
And that's why when I finally saw the original trilogy, I got so mad at all these like Boba Fett people. Because there's this wave of people with like Boba Fett like backpacks and phone cases and people who like idolize him as the best character. He's nothing.
Yeah.
He just has a cool helmet.
I know.
I was so disappointed to find out that all he is a cool helmet.
Yeah.
That's all.
And the way he dies is so funny.
He's not even that good at his job.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, he gets killed right away.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, but I agree that the pod race scene is good. I like that. I like it. I don't like Jake Lloyd as Anakin. I don't think that was a good idea.
Was that the little kid?
Yeah, he shouldn't have been a kid.
Yeah.
Should have been maybe like around Luke's age.
That kid is like not okay.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
he has like mental issues or something.
Yeah, I mean that's what Star Wars does to people. Even Jar Jar Binks, the guy who played him.
That guy got really depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad, but I mean that's I don't blame them as people. I just blame the writing.
I don't think. Usually don't blame the people.
No, I know. But most fans have. It's the problem. It's sad.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. They I mean, obviously he's a kid. He wasn't that great of an actor, but he didn't have much to work with. The dialogue is ass.
Now that's what I call pod racing. The best line in cinematic history.
Oh man, yeah. And then it's 2 for me. Episode 2. I think it's just because this might be just because I grew up with it and like. That was the one I watched the most. I think when it came out, I was like obsessed with it because there was just so much Jedi stuff and like the lightsaber fights were cool. Looking back, it's like the lightsaber fights aren't that cool because it's just like aimlessly swinging and it's like there's no emotion.
As a
in
kid,
any of
though,
them.
aimlessly swinging, you're like lightsabers.
Yeah, I know,
like,
yeah. And that's part of the reason why I don't like the Maul fight that much is because like I can't even. It feels like there's no emotion. I mean, Obi-Wan's kind of mad that he just watched someone die. Oh yeah, music's the best part of the prequels. Yeah. But episode 2, things I do like is the arena scene when they're kind of trapped. They're kind of like got to figure out what to do. They're all chained up, and then it goes into ridiculousness after that. But there's just a few parts of that movie where I can still find some enjoyment in. But yeah, the dialogue is the worst probably in that movie out of any of the movies. CGI is still not there. Cinematography, just all the exterior scenes kind of look cool, but like when it comes to framing people talking, it's
is episode
terrible.
2 the one where all the Jar Jars have? I know that's not what they're called, but they have like a droid fight.
No, it's episode 1.
That's episode 1. Okay,
yeah.
I gotta flip it.
No.
I gotta flip it. 1 is the worst Star Wars movie. Wait, what even is episode 2? That's the only thing I associate.
Attack the Clones, so it's all for the clone stuff, which is a bad idea in itself.
But what's happened? Is that like where they introduce No, Padme.
No, I think
Okay,
it's the first
Padme
one.
is there when he's a little kid and when
Yeah.
he's Hayden Christensen.
Yeah,
The fuck is that all about?
It's weird that she's so much older and they have like romance in the second one.
There's so
it's just
much-
so forced.
There's so much wrong.
Yeah, and the third one doesn't fix it by much to me. It just like, yeah, it's a little bit darker, but I don't feel it's like it's earned because like once what they do is like it's so obvious. Like, okay, send all the characters away from Anakin so that Anakin can be turned easier and like make him have this vision that that his love is gonna die, and then have that be the reason why he flips. But it's like that hasn't even happened yet, so it's like it should be like something that he's gonna like bargain with the Emperor to like show him that power, and then he'll turn evil or something, or I don't know. It doesn't feel earned.
The thing about the prequels is I feel like the biggest problem with it is the execution. But if I just told someone, hey, the backstory to Darth Vader is he was this really powerful Jedi and he was getting trained by Obi-Wan and he had like this space princess relationship, and then this dude like showed him like the dark side and he like killed a bunch of people and he turned. It sounds rad. Like it sounds like what it probably should be, but then the movies are not good.
And all that exposition is in the originals, so you already know all that, and so that makes the prequels almost like null. Whereas you don't need. You can start from the third one. You don't miss anything almost. So he
I
turns.
saw 3 in theaters.
Me too. He turns evil, and then he kills children 10 minutes later, and it's like wow,
Wow, man, wow! You're not even under a spell. You didn't sniff a parasite. You just had a change of heart.
Yeah, yeah, I know, and that just none of the fight scenes are honestly that cool to me because it's just
George Lucas is so out of pocket.
I know, very out of touch too.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of the things it feels like they're betraying what the original set out to do. Okay, so yeah, for me it's 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
and then Rise of Skywalker.
Okay, yeah, that makes so. All right, I can see. Yeah, I mean, if you just hate the plot points, you're gonna like it less than the spin-offs.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I gave it like a 6. I still like some of it. It's just that there's so much I don't like.
Yeah, you gave it a My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
What Fantano gave
that a 6.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, and I already said why I didn't like that and stuff. And then Solo, which I love. I gave it like an 8.
Yeah, I know
8.5. And just because I had a lot of fun. It's like how you liked Rise of Skywalker, where you kind of turn your brain off. Is kind of how I am with Solo.
It has cool stuff in it. I really barely remember anything from it, which to me must mean that I didn't like it that much.
That makes sense. I mean, yeah, it's definitely. If they told me they were making a Solo movie, I'd say don't do that. That's a bad idea, and I still to this day think it's a bad idea to have made that movie. Well, I would not have done it.
Well, they fired Chris Miller and Phil Lord, and then it became the least successful Star Wars movie.
Yeah, Studio Metal.
And then they made the Spider-Verse, which is the best Spider-Man movie, and like the most free range I've seen creators have.
I know. I wonder what would happen if they had stayed on.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still like it. I still think it adds a lot to the universe, and I still like the characters. I kind of disassociate myself, I disassociate it with the originals. Like I don't even think that's Han Solo when I'm watching it because it's like
just a different.
They're different
guy.
characters, different guys. Yeah, I mean, so when you think about it that way, I think it's easier.
Yeah,
to
when I
enjoy.
watched that movie, that was not Han Solo. I thought of him as a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was a guy in the Star Wars universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Rogue One, which I think is it's lacking in character stuff. I still like them. I don't hate them. And the story I think is really cool, and the scenes are really cool, and that ending's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's kind of all it's got going for it. It's the coolness factor. I mean, I still think it has some
that
Star Wars
ending
stuff.
with Darth Vader was so sick.
Yeah, for sure.
And the CGI they did to bring back Leia, I've heard CGI people like talk about why it's bad, but I was blown away. I thought it looked so good.
Yeah, I thought it looked good too. Most recent watch, not so much. But maybe it's been my TV.
But when you just go see it in the theater and it's quick, you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, for sure. That one, I find I watch it like I'm watching Zero Dark 30 or something. Like it's not like a Star Wars movie. I watch it like it's like a war movie.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
When they made all the posters look like Vietnam War movies, that shit was cool. It was all like beaches and stuff. Yeah. That was a cool aesthetic. That's not what that movie was, though.
No.
I thought, I wish it was.
Okay, and then Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, just because I think it's Like, I still love it. I give it like a 9.5 out of 10. Like, I still love it.
Yeah.
It's just that it's the weakest out of the originals to me, because when you look at it, it looks like it's just 2 acts. You're on Tatooine. It's really fun, really cool. Then they meet up in space really quick and they talk about what their plan is. And then they go down to the moon of Endor and they're kind of meandering around waiting for the plan to start. You meet the Ewoks.
They're getting everything set up to end.
Yeah. And then you have that cool third act, and the third act's amazing, I think.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why. And like, if it hadn't done that, I feel like if it was more adventurous and like more to it, more, if it was deeper like the other ones, or the characters had more to do, I guess. And Leia being Luke's sister I hate that. I don't think.
Whoa.
I know. It's a hot take here, but like, just it makes it. It has nothing to do with the plot, and it has no effect of anything when you look at it. It's like,
yeah, that's funny, because like when I was a kid and I was like learning what Star Wars was through pop culture, and my parents kind of talking, because they didn't really watch it like much, so like it wasn't around, so like they would reference it in Fairly Odd Parents and stuff. It was always Luke, I am your father, like that was the big reveal. But then they went as far as to give you a second family member plot twist, and that's not even really the one that they talk about.
I know.
But I've always thought of it as just the lore of it.
Yeah.
But now when you think of it, how it affects the new movies, all it is occasional CGI flashback stories where they show Leia being a Jedi. And you're like, oh, I guess, she's a Jedi too then. Yeah. But like, it's just kind of that. Yeah. And you're like,
I didn't question it for the longest time.
I've never thought of that.
See, what happened was in episode 5, there's a throwaway line where Obi-Wan goes, "He's our last hope," and then Yoda goes, "No, there is another." And what was happening was they were trying to set up something so they continue making movies into the next trilogy or whatever.
They're just referencing any old strong person.
Yeah, exactly. And then episode 6 comes around, and George Lucas is like, all right, I'm done with this. I still got to make 3 other ones because I decided to call this episode 5, episode 6. So I'm not going to make any more past this. Let's just make Leia the sister. Let's just make that the whole thing.
The part where he finds out and he was like, we kissed.
They don't address that. They don't address it. And that's one thing where it's like, this is clearly not planned at all. Yeah. And there's no effect to it at all. That's the reason why 6 is down. I still love it. And then Force Awakens, because I love it. I think it's a 10 out of 10. I just have so much fun.
Yeah, I love the Force Awakens.
Even though it's similar to episode 4, I don't care, because it's like it's introducing this kind of story to a new generation of people. And when you think about it, the only way it's similar is maybe it's structural, and the Starkiller base being like another Death Star.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you have this person on a desert planet, and then you have Han Solo in a bar, and then they gotta go blow up. But like, it's like very similar, like with the beats. But when you're watching it, it doesn't feel like you're watching the same movie, like at all.
It's like a whole new cast of characters you get to meet that it's all fun and great, and maybe they have a few obstacles that are similar. But
I think I was just let down by Finn in this new franchise, just like through and through.
Well, yeah, I mean, his arc is kind of completed in 8.
They made it flat.
In the new one?
Just all together, yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's just him screaming, Rey, Rey, the whole time.
Yeah. Because the idea of his character is, like, really sick, but then it's like, you got a cool moment here or there.
Yeah.
That's what you are.
I love seeing him, though, transform and realize his place in the universe and his identity of, like, he can be who he wants to be, and he chooses to be a rebel. And but being a rebel isn't just like heroics. It's not just like sacrificing yourself for the greater good. It's like keeping everyone alive and secure.
And when they introduced him, like that whole scene was sick, because they were like shooting and showing Star Wars and like a POV that they just like never had before.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome to me. Okay, then it's Last Jedi. It's episode 8, just because everyone jokes about subverting your expectations and all that. But it's like, that's what everybody wanted from episode 7, because it was so similar. Everyone wanted 8 to be different. And I love that it took chances, and I love that Rey was nobody, and that whole theme was new to Star Wars. Where until then you're thinking everyone's related, and like, no, this person just came out of the blue and it was like just as powerful as Skywalker, and that was so cool to me.
Yeah, because it's not like Anakin didn't come out of nowhere.
Well, technically he was Jesus. He's space Jesus because he didn't have a father. He was created.
They kind of did that.
Yeah, but so I don't know who he started from, but whatever. Yeah, he just did come out of nowhere.
Star Wars really is. What if Jesus became Hitler?
Yeah, true.
In space, but they use swords.
Yeah, and I love that they killed off Snoke because when you look at it, Snoke is just
sick.
another emperor. It's like I didn't want just another emperor. I don't care where he came from either because in the originals you never find out where the emperor came from. He's just there in the background. He shows up, he says some evil stuff, he dies. Never did explain where he was from or why he was so powerful.
One of my theories was he was going to be as small as Yoda, and the projection of him was going to be like a Wizard of Oz thing where he was like a tiny guy behind a. But like he still yielded like a lot of power, obviously.
That'd be hilarious.
But nah.
Yeah, no, he's just some cloned guy they have in tanks.
When they had like 3 of them in one tank,
I was like, what kind of backwards explanation is
somebody
this?
watched Mewtwo Strikes Back.
Yeah, it was so strange. He just has a bunch of them lying around. He decided to send one off and do a bunch of stuff.
Palpy was like, I used some of my DNA to make a Snoke.
Did he say that?
No, but like they kind of look like him.
Oh,
they're like
God.
wrinkly and gross.
Yeah, I have such a weird way to explain where he came from.
I
didn't like it.
He's like, I made them.
Yeah.
He's a full person with his own mind and brain and agenda, and he talks, and we don't.
So weird. Yeah, that was a big slap in the face.
But that was another thing where I was watching and I was just like, all right. because I was in, it's like fantasy, so I was just like, okay, I'm going to accept what JJ tells me is real and then see if what he does with it is like interesting or not. And I was interested and entertained. So then that's where I didn't really have a problem.
All right.
But if I was really invested, I'd be like, that is so lazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's where I was at with it.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, I get it. Where was I? Oh, yeah, okay, then it's 4. It's number 2. It's just because, like, think about being in 1977, watching that happen, just, like, being blown away by these effects and that story.
Back then.
Yeah, me too. Just imagine, like, you've seen that stuff on a cheesy level back with like Buck Rogers and like those black and white movies, the sci-fi movies with like cardboard cut out, all that stuff. And then this takes everything and like makes it all like thematic and real and like, but the story is still like that hero's journey we've seen everywhere. And just the idea of like the Force and like all these characters are cool and just that whole just the whole sense of adventure and the spirit is it hit me in my little child soul, and I watched it endlessly on rewatch all the time when I was a kid. In fact, that's like the first memory of watching a movie I have. Yeah, okay, so and then number 1 is Empire, and that's just because like you're also just imagining watching that for the first time, and so you see Star Wars and you're like, okay, this is what Star Wars is, and then you're like, where can you go from this? And then Empire is just complete continuation of the story. It's not a rehash. It's just you get the characters, you push them forward, you make Luke learn a bit more about the Force through Yoda, which is just an amazing character, and the way they handled him with the prosthetic or the Muppeteering, and this is puppeteering.
Wasn't Jim Henson involved?
No, Frank Oz.
Oh, okay.
Jim Henson might have made the. No, I don't think he had anything to do with it.
I thought he had something to do with Yoda.
No, this other guy designed him, and then Frank Oz puppeteered him.
Okay.
But no, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that whole thing was amazing, and then just having the romance that works for me. All the space battles, the first battle is just like it's on the scale of the Death Star battle, but on land. And you get that in the first like 30 minutes, and then you get the space adventure while Luke's like on the planet learning about the Force. So you're moving the lore forward and the story and characters all at the same time, and they all converge at the end, Cloud City, where you even meet more characters there, and you get that amazing fight scene between Luke and Vader, followed by the revelation that he's his father. And it's just that blows my mind that was possible to do with the story, and just it changed your whole perspective of the whole series.
It doesn't help either that when I saw these movies, I knew everything that happens in them as I watched them too. So I was like, oh, here's the one where we find out that he's the dad, huh? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, when you look back at Star Wars, you're thinking you already know all of the lore almost and all of the characters, and so it's so hard to disassociate yourselves with the rest of the movies when you're watching a single movie, because you already know how this goes and where they are and what happens. So like for instance, when I going back as an adult to watch these movies, I watched them like as if I didn't know anything about them, and it's just like a whole new viewing almost. So that's my rant. Not to mention the music is just like incredible.
Yeah, well-known things bear that burden, and sequels do too.
Yeah.
Because like for instance, I hate Finding Dory. Finding Dory to me is like, I think I have it ranked as the second worst Pixar movie.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I'm like a Pixar fanatic. And like that's a movie where like I get why people like it, but then I look at Finding Nemo and all of its accomplishments and like everything
it's way better.
And everything that I know, and I'm like, I can't unknow that when I'm watching this. It's so hard.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
My thing with Finding Dory is that it's kind of why you don't like episode 9. It's like extremely fast and extremely frantic, and almost nothing is earned in it. Finding Dory has like 10 million Deus Ex Machinas, where it's just like, here's a bird that takes you to where you need to go, and here's an octopus who can drive, and here's some beavers that are like, but Finding Nemo, literally the entire journey for both characters are extremely hard fought. Like extremely, like he spends the whole movie on the single task of like polluting the fish tank, and the other dude has to like have this like Shakespearean journey across the entire ocean, and like and the pacing is really slow, and it's immersive, and Finding Nemo is like joke. You
Find Dory, you mean?
Finding Dory rather. And when they said, oh, we're gonna make the sequel and it's gonna be called Finding Dory, I was like, yo, do you think this will be a movie about finding her psychologically, and it'll be like kind of deep and dramatic the way Nemo was, and it's about like her backstory and this and that. And the other thing is like a big appeal of Finding Nemo is like the ocean, but I think they kind of did the sequel thing where they're like, water, what else is water? Aquariums, this is the Aquarium Nemo movie. And then it was just kind of like they took out, like in the first movie, getting through the turtle freeway thing, the current, that was like a big moment. And then in Finding Dory, like 10 minutes in, they're like, thanks, like they literally just, and they go to California.
I know,
like literally like across the planet in a cut. And then the whole first movie is about like going a city's distance, maybe, like I don't know.
I mean, with that knowledge in mind, rewatching it, I probably like it less. But yeah, when I was watching it, I was probably like mind off, just like it's a kids movie, and
I was like furious watching Finding Dory. Cars 3 is good.
Oh my god,
Cars 3 is good.
I think it's pretty good, like a 7.
I mean,
6.5.
It's also at the lower end of the spectrum for me of those movies, but like.
Oh, what you're saying about Finding Nemo is it like I was so stressed out watching that movie, even as a kid. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
But Finding Dory, kind of like expect them to make it there, and then once they're there, it's kind of like,
I think Brave is really underrated because it has a lot of really good slapstick humor, and honestly, the whole message of like just be nice to your mom and like listen to each other, like it's like a sweet movie. Like there's nothing. It just came out like the same year as How to Train Your Dragon, and they were better at being Scottish, and it had dragons in it.
I don't.
Meredith was Irish or whatever, and they were like, change your fate, and people just kept like making fun of it.
Pixar is a whole nother podcast. That could be.
We want to wrap up with our top 5 Pixar movies.
I can't. I don't.
Not in order, just like your 5 favorites.
Okay.
Not
just because like I haven't seen them in so long.
I'll
do the first ones that come to mind, just because those are probably the most.
I think my favorite is Coco. I think that's just like the best movie they've made.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's high praise.
I love
Coco.
I just think it's the best movie they've made. Like it's just so good on so many levels, and like it. And then WALL-E because that movie is just like a perfect silent film for like an extremely long period of time, and then when they do talk, it's like only necessary, and the music is so good, and it's just really sweet.
Yeah.
Probably some of the best sound design I've ever seen in a movie too. And then probably I really like Up as well. Like that was a good, so like Up is up there. Finding Nemo. And those are kind of my favorites. Those are the ones I find myself like wanting to watch the most. Yeah. I have like this newfound adult respect for Ratatouille.
Oh yeah, I've been wanting to rewatch that like crazy.
Me too.
I loved it as a kid.
I have Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, me too. I should watch it.
I'm gonna watch Ratatouille tonight. Fuck
okay.
it.
Oh, okay. I mean, ones come to mind. Inside Out.
Oh fuck. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Inside Out. I love Inside Out.
Okay. Inside Out. Toy Story. Finding Nemo. WALL-E. Monsters Inc. Maybe. I feel like that's all of them. Those are the ones that come to mind when I think Pixar. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say Incredibles too, but Incredibles 1. Sorry.
Yeah, Incredibles
as well.
I have a lot of problems with Incredibles 2.
Oh really?
Yeah. But I think it's pretty dang good. Yeah. And I liked it a lot more the second time than the first time. My thing is I feel like Syndrome is an extremely well written villain where like he's even introduced to us in the first scene, and there's a lot of implications to who he is and what he represents, and like he has a really specific agenda. And then I feel like the Screenslaver was kind of mostly like aesthetic, where it's like we're gonna write a cool monologue and she's gonna dislike this for this reason, but it's not like super earned. And I feel like they did a good job making Elastigirl the protagonist, but in the first Incredibles, all of the side characters were also kind of protagonists. Even though she was like a side plot, she still had a lot of character to her, and so did the other characters. In the sequel, I felt like in order to make her the front runner, they did what Finding Dory did, where they made all of the old main characters more boring. So I feel like Incredibles 2, Bob is like really one-dimensional and just kind of this angry man where he's like, my wife is on TV and I'm not, and I have to babysit the kids. And it's like, that's just kind of like, you know, there just wasn't that much going on with him. And
I can see that.
Yeah, so I'm like, the first Incredibles is like one of the best superhero movies like ever written.
Oh, I know, I love it.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
I gotta rewatch them all.
You gotta rewatch them.
You gotta rewatch Star Wars.
Gotta get Disney Plus. You gotta watch all Star Wars. You gotta get Disney Plus. You gotta get Netflix, Hulu. Don't forget that HBO Go. You gotta do it all.
Oh my god,
do it all.
There's so many,
so much stuff. All right, well, tomorrow's New Year's Eve.
Oh yes. Have a New Year's Eve. Have a happy New Year's Eve, everyone.
Have a happy New Year's Eve. May your lives be better in 2020.
Yes. Be safe.
Be safe. And
I love you.
I might love you, but I'm kind of, I don't know if I'm ready to love.
Oh, this got really deep.
I just want to be upfront with the nature of this relationship.
That's very smart. Very kind of you.
Yeah, I want to be considerate. I mean, I like what you're putting down. I need to be.
Can they hear us right now?
All right, bye.
Bye.